39. They'll be a big player in this season yet.
Bet you didn't know we're the world's biggest gamblers.
Totally crippled my life.
Bingo!
I'm finding out why and if we really are the lucky country. Join me, Sean McAuliffe, Going for Broke.
Starts Tuesday, May 19 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Josh Fraser takes charge at Carlton as interim coach for the first time when the Blues meet the Western Bulldogs under the roof of Docklands. Hello, welcome to Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Carlton are on a 7-game losing streak since their 4-point win over the Tigers back in round 1. Jack Eisen, pick 47 from 2025, becomes Carlton's first NGA debutant at AFL level, their 5th of the season. He's the 6th leading goal scorer in the VFL. Well, the banged-up Dogs snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 2-point win over Port Adelaide last week, but as has been the recent week's injury toll, they do lose Tim English out with concussion, but they do regain Rory Lobb tonight. Great to have your company under the roof of Docklands. Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport. Lauren Borden to call the action alongside me. Welcome to you, Loz.
Thanks, Clinch. It's wonderful to be here tonight. Of course, a lot of eyes on Carlton to see if tonight becomes that circuit breaker. Like you mentioned, only one win. And then you look at the Western Bulldogs, who maybe last week was a circuit breaker in a different sort of way. They won the first 4 matches of the season, then lost the next 4, and then were able to hold on in a tight one against Port Adelaide. So maybe that gives the Doggies something to work with, although they do have a lot of injuries. But they played here last year, and the Western Bulldogs won by 8 points. It was another one of those Carlton games where the Blues led by a decent margin at halftime and then let it slip. But a good crowd looks to be coming in tonight. Maybe they're here, a lot of Blues supporters, to see if their side can spark something now that Josh Fraser's taken the helm for the rest of the season. Yeah, it's fascinating for both sides. The Dogs, 5 wins and 5 losses. They need to get ahead of the ledger and try and build after their promising start, 4 wins and then 4 losses. But they're hoping they can do so without the full cavalry returning. Unfortunately, Sam Darcy's season is over with an ACL. We are stacked on the back row. 2 Hall of Famers. Nathan Burke, the St Kilda champion, is with you once more. Welcome to you, Burkie.
Hello, Clinchy. Hello, Loz. Lovely to be here this afternoon. Tonight, sorry. Bulldogs, they've had 5 really hard weeks. Obviously, the 4 losses, and even last week was a really, really tough win. It's got to take its toll, and if Carlton are ever going to actually upset a team, I think tonight could be the night.
And he is the North Melbourne champion, premiership player, and for one more week he's the equal games record holder, Boomer Harvey. Great to have your company once more.
And still.
The North Melbourne
about
games
7 more days, I think, isn't it? So well, let's run with and still. No, I agree with a lot of what you guys said, and let's face it, if the victory should come tonight from the Western Bulldogs. If they're any threat at all in September, they just need to tick this one and get this one done. But let's be honest, all eyes are on Carlton tonight under a new coach, and we know what often happens when a new coach comes into the fold. Somehow that team changes the way they play, their mindset changes, and they end up getting a win. I did try to do some research today and find out the percentage rate of new coaches, and I couldn't find it. So if anyone can help me out with that, the percentage rate of new coaches coming in and just winning their first game. But it's going to be interesting to see if Carlton change anything at all.
0437 774 774 is the SMS number. We'll try and find that stat. You got it?
It's 50%. It's not as high as people say. It's only about 50%.
Maybe of later date.
In recent
times.
Kind of recent seasons.
I reckon 50% is a really high ratio because you only sack the coach if your teams are dud.
Yep.
Something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
Yeah, so for the dud teams to get up and win,
and a lot of matches are losses
so
by 13 points or below. So maybe there is a bit of a bounce there.
Not bad effort. Look, I think Josh Fraser, good on him, sticking his hand up. He's admitted he's not quite ready to take on the job full-time just yet. But
I thought that was a great call too, just to come out and say that. Most coaches, and I think most of them, Berkey, would say, no, I want to do this. And he said, I do want to do it, but not right now. My family's young. I've still got a lot to learn. I thought it was a fantastic call by Josh.
It is. What I would have loved him to have done, though, is... So the only bloke out of this Carlton side is Sard, who was injured. They brought in one more player. they don't have a lot of injuries. There's probably a whole bunch of blokes in the twos that are running around going, Bossie's probably earmarked me. I'm not really going to get a go in this team. I'm break glass. I'm only going to be used. Maybe make 2, 3, 4 changes.
Yep.
And bring these guys in, and then he would have every single player on that Carlton list going, hey, now I'm a chance. I haven't been a chance for the first 10 rounds because Vossi hasn't even looked at me, but now I'm a chance under the new coach, and boy, he's making changes. That can, it can put the wind up the ones who are rolling out there every week and not getting the job done, and also just give a huge boost to all the other guys. So I reckon he's probably missed a trick there by not making any changes other than forced one.
Text messages are pinging left, right and centre. Gemma Bastiati's been in touch. 6 wins, 15 losses in terms of the last decade for coaches in their first game taking over in the senior reigns. The interesting part, Boomer and also Berkey, would be how much Josh Fraser really tinkers with this week, other than trying to release a bit of the pressure and encourages his players to show their natural skills, take the game on and try and challenge the Dogs in the way in which they have in first halves throughout the season, but it's the second half that has been the challenge.
Yeah, I don't think he can change a lot the way that they play the game. It's more the mental attitude to the game, and you mentioned those words, take the game on. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, run when you wouldn't normally run, all of those sorts of things. So I think freeing them up mentally is his task, not necessarily changing game plan at this early stage.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think a week is not enough time to change your tactics completely. He might have a couple of little things that he wants to tinker with, and we might see them and pick them up tonight, hopefully. But I don't think it's enough time in 7 days to change a style of play and let them execute it 100% tonight.
So the players, the sense of guilt and, I guess, responsibility when a coach does depart, what's it like, I guess, for the individuals inside the change rooms that once you get to game day, is a lot of that sort of disappointment and personal frustration put to one side, and is now the chance where you can actually prove something?
Yeah, I think it is, and I've been in this situation where Darren Crocker took over from Danny Laidley, so it's really tough, the first part of it, but it's business. You have to get on really, really quickly with it. And if you don't, you'll see it in the performance tonight very early. So training would have been, the first couple of days would have been a bit of a wow, this is new. And then after that, on come Tuesday or Wednesday on their main training session, you've got to put that behind you and embrace the new coach and hopefully a new style.
On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Can you give a bit of history to Josh Fraser? Well, we can. Of course, played a career at Collingwood and the Gold Coast Suns, 218 games, featured for the Magpies for 2000 to 2010 as the #1 draft pick, and then went to the Gold Coast Suns for 18 games from 2011 to 2012. He's at coaching level been involved with the Blues. He's coached at VFL level, Berkey, and it's been one of those coaches that has been sort of on the radar for the last sort of 5 to 6 years as he's worked his way up the ranks.
Yeah, he's done his time at the lower levels, and what I like about his journey is that he's put his hand up and he's been the main man. He hasn't just floated around as assistant coach here and assistant coach there. He's actually been the guy in charge, and I think that is the best way to actually get yourself ready to take on an AFL team.
Let's take it down for our Welcome to Country for Sir Doug Nicholls round.
Different nations here tonight. To all the mob that are with us, big shout out to you fellas, and pay my respects to you and your families, both past and present, and also everyone else joining us as well, and extend that to your families, both past and present. Welcome to Sir Doug Nicholls round, and where we get to showcase the beautiful history of our culture and celebrate the past and current players that have impacted on this field and in our communities as well. So big thank you to you all. Lastly, I'd just like to finish by saying Wurundjeri Balik, Yimin Gundi Bik, which means that you're almost welcome to the home of the Wurundjeri people. And I wish to welcome you all from the tops of the trees and the roots in the ground. And I guarantee you, if you look after this country will always look after you. Thank you and have a deadly night.
Baganyo nyanyin bubuk nyar warnik kirbik balakik baganyo nyanyin baban baganyun anyin baganyun anyin baganyun anyin muro baliwi baganyun anyin. Whoa!
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the game. Let's have a good night here at Marvel Stadium.
The voice of Alice Kerr conducting the smoking ceremony in the middle of the broadcast wing, and then the dancing of the First Nations players, which started with the 6 Indigenous dancers out in front and then joined by Jack Ison on debut alongside Zach Williams, and then Artie Jones came across from the Western Bulldogs and joined the dance. It is one of the great cultural celebrations, and to see the players in their moment get a chance to shine on the broadcast wing. Plenty of smiles as the smoke makes its way from Docklands after the ceremony, and the players now break into their various teams to start their preparations. Sir Doug Nichols round across 2 weeks. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. It's the Blues for the first time under Josh Fraser taking on the Western Bulldogs.
How about Jack Ison playing his first game, debuting? Not only the nerves of that, but doing the dance in front of everybody as well at the start. That was fantastic, wasn't it? To see that 3 players get involved. That's a really good ceremony.
And of course, Dreamtime at the G, Essendon and Richmond have made that such a highlight, so that's still to come, but all 18 clubs get their chance to celebrate. So Doug Nichols round and the contribution that the First Nation players, past and present, have made to our great game. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden to call the action. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, our stacked Hall of Fame back row, and Poppy Penny on the boundary. So, Boomer, you alluded to it at the start of the broadcast. For the Bulldogs, it just becomes sort of non-negotiable, really. 5 wins, 5 losses. It's the side that didn't feature in finals last year. They started so promisingly, winning their first 4 games, including big wins on the road. And now, all of a sudden, they need to get their season back up and running. A crucial 2-point win over Port Adelaide last week, but they need to find a way to take all the emotion out of this game early.
Yeah, they certainly do. And you look through their team, and Darcy, English, Libber, Vandermeer, O'Donnell, and I know Waitman hasn't played a lot of football, but them 6 players there walk into their team every single day of the week. So they've got some injury concerns for themselves. So you look at this, and they've just got to get the job done regardless. Same as Port Adelaide last week. It doesn't matter how you get them done, and nobody's going to look back in round 9 or 10 and say, yeah, but they only won by 2 points. You still get the 4 points on the ladder, and that's the most important thing. And I think this team here, who I really, really rate highly, the Western Bulldogs, just need to tick this box tonight and get the job done.
Riley Sanders comes across with Artie Jones and Marcus Bontempelli. Jack Ison is already out there with Zach Williams and Patrick Cripps. Which Carlton are we going to get? Will we get the Blues that came charging home against Brisbane last week? Patrick Cripps inspired them. Harry Mackay with 3 goals up in front. Can they carry that momentum, or will they be weighed down by the events of the week as Josh Fraser takes control?
Berkey, I hope they get a consistent Carlton team that turns up, because there's no point playing a first half, then going into your shell, which we've seen in the first part of the year, or having a slow start and playing a great second half. That's no point, because you don't win games. You can't win games playing 2 quarters of footy, as good as anybody can be. A consistent Carlton is probably what we want to see.
Yep, absolutely. And really 2 contrasting styles. The Western Bulldogs like to keep the ball alive. They'll run and share and use their hands, sometimes overuse it, but get the ball into their forward line 50. The Blues, not afraid to have a few stoppages, not afraid to clog the game up and make it a bit more of a dour affair. So it'll be interesting to see which team gets the game on their terms, because contrasting styles.
As players head out into position, Poppy Penny's on the boundary for us tonight. Welcome, Poppy.
Thanks, Clinchy. The roof is closed and it is warm in here. So even though we are only a couple of weeks away from winter in Melbourne, it is pretty warm. It was a warm day Really interestingly, Jack Larson, as you mentioned, was out at the toss there, and he got to make the call. Unfortunately for him, didn't get the win. Bont did win the toss, and the Bulldogs will be kicking to the Coventry end, which is the right of your radio dial. It is warm down here, as I say, and that ceremony was really beautiful. The Indigenous players were grinning the whole time as they were taking part in it. Really, really cool.
Well, I think he's kicking with the wind because the smoking ceremony, the smoke did dissipate to our right.
He's spot on there, actually.
Smart move.
Josh Fraser takes charge as Carlton as they take on the Western Bulldogs on Saturday Night Footy. Here's Lauren Borden.
And it's the Blues with the first touch by their captain in Cripps. Hand passes it away. Cowan with the first kick of the game will bounce its way inside forward 50 for the Blues. Picked up by Buslinger, though, of the Bulldogs. Shrugs off a would-be tackler and McGovern. Can hand pass it away to Dale. There's already an early free kick. And he'll be coming back to Buslinger of the Western Bulldogs.
I think it was just a small push in the back after he handballed the ball. Not much in it.
So just inside defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Thumps it on his boot all the way to centre wing. Wiedering taps it out. Walsh tries to collect. His hand pass a turnover via Lewis, who puts the ball ahead of him for the Western Bulldogs. Picked up by McNeil. Hand pass to Norton. Hand pass to West. Inside forward 50 for the Doggies. Hand pass to Jones. Back to West, who has to dive to try and collect the hand pass. It goes out of bounds for a boundary thrown inside that forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Perhaps kicking with the wind under the roof in this first term. Just 50 seconds played in the opener. No score yet.
Ball spinning back into play. Rory Lobb up against Mark Pitnet tonight. They tangle. Lobb works it down, looking for Bailey Williams. Ricochets off him. Taken away by Jagger Smith. Back to Chera. Now the hand pass to Cowan. Around his body, close to the boundary line, and bounces in front of Harry Mackay. Awkward bounce. Ainsworth tries to slap it on. It's taken by Bailey Dale of the Bulldogs. Hand pass back to Selwood. To Buslinger, who turns and chips it inboard, and Bontempelli takes the mark. The Bulldogs have it on the city wing. Bontempelli looks up towards half forward where Ed Richards has a couple of metres of space. He takes the mark and runs around the player on the mark. Looks into the pocket. Norton on the lead. Can't hang on to it. And Cowan spoils it out of play for a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for the Dogs. Inside the opening 90 seconds here at Docklands. Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
And a match up to watch, Berkey. Patrick Cripps on Marcus Bontempelli. See how that one unfolds tonight.
Those two size blokes used to play in the ruck.
Yeah, absolutely.
My day.
Now they're standing alongside each other inside forward 50 for the Doggies. Waiting to rove as Pitnet and Lobb go at it in the ruck. Lobb just picks it out himself. Hand pass towards Sanders was being held onto, and he'll get the free kick.
Oh, no.
No.
The wrong way. Yes, he's got it.
Yes, he has. Everyone ran the wrong way, and now they've run back inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs as Riley Sanders will get the free kick for his side. So he's having an excellent year, Riley Sanders.
Yeah, he's been really good. He's averaging, 26 possessions a game this year. Really just coming to his own. Just seems more comfortable now. And I think Bevo's got a lot more confidence to just put him in the middle and let him go and get the footy.
He's now playing his 44th match, Riley Sanders. He comes in on a 45-degree angle, will kick from 45 metres out to put this one towards goal and score the opener. It's through. Plenty of players on the line. None can get a fingertip to it. And Riley Sanders scores the opener of the evening. The Western Bulldogs take an early lead. 1 straight 6 playing Carlton, yet to score. 3 minutes played in the opening term. It's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
He'd probably be getting more of an opportunity with Libber out as well, so if he comes that inside mid and a really important player for him. Not sure what happened, Berkey. We will have the privilege of looking at the replay up here, but that should have been touched on the line.
It should have been. It looked like 2 Carlton players, instead of coming from behind the line forward and jumping, they were in front of the line going backwards, so you can't get enough height on it, but it looks like they both had fresh areas.
Well, as you mentioned, kicking with the wind, he probably should have kicked it a little bit further.
Wind got that across the line.
Jacob Wiedering was wrestling with Aaron Norton, and Harry Dean couldn't get a hand to it.
Oh,
so
Harry Dean was
through.
Harry Dean was 1.5 metres from the goal line.
Come the other way, boys.
First goal the way of the Western Bulldogs. Jagger Smith tries to take it. Going one direction was Walsh. Fraser the other. Walsh takes the mark. Out past the Chera. Edge of the centre square. Looks inside 50. Mackay the target and takes the pack in a 4-player contest.
Yeah, well done, Sam Walsh. That's a 50-50 ball. And just wanted it more. That's a crucial win in the middle of the ground by Sam Walsh, and all his teammates getting around him, and so they should.
It was a tone setter, wasn't it? Fraser coming one way, Walsh the other. Could have skirt the contest. He didn't. And the resulting kick was to the advantage of Harry Mackay, who had a nice sit. Now to complete the deed in front of goal in the left forward pocket, only about 15 metres out. Mackay for Carlton's first. And they're on the board under the roof. After 3 goals last week for Big H, scores are locked at 1 goal apiece. 4.5 minutes gone. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport with Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Well, it's exactly what Harry Mackay needs to do, because he's against Jed Buslinger down there in the goal square, and he's got probably 10 kilograms and a half a foot on him, because Rory Lobb's playing in the ruck, so they're very short defending. Buku Karmas, he's picking up the other forward down there, so Harry Mackay, he needs to look at this and go, what's my point of difference? What's my advantage that I've got here? It's taking contested marks against this bloke. So put himself in the position, get up, take a mark just like he did there, and that should be... That's his modus operandi for the rest of this game. I'm going to beat you because I'm taller and stronger.
So back in the middle now. Scores locked as Lobb gets a tap out towards Bontempelli. He tries to tap it towards Richards, falls to ground. Walsh will pick it up for the Blues and shrugs off the Bontempelli tackle. Hand pass to Smith, hand pass across to Evans. Inside 50, you'll send the Blues. Running on to me, there's Buslinger again. There's a whistle on play. This time it's a Carlton free kick.
Yeah, McGovern just caught high there. A little bit of holding, but the umpire signalled high. It was certainly there.
So now McGovern will get a free kick inside forward 50 for the Blues to put on a second goal in about a minute in this opening term.
Just on your point, Berkey, with Lobb being in the ruck, it's that snowballing effect, isn't it? You lose English, and then you lose a key back that would be playing on the key forward, and then somebody else has got to step up. That snowball, it's a big thing in football.
So Mitch McGovern on his approach. 45 metres out from goal. Puts this one towards the sticks. It's just offline to the left-hand side. He scores the first minor score of the night, but Carlton take the lead. 1-1-7 playing the Western Bulldogs. 1 straight 6 minutes played in the first term.
Bailey Dale brings the Bulldogs back into play to Fraser, who marks in the back pocket, and a 50-metre penalty against Harry Mackay, who didn't stand on the mark, and so as a result...
That's one of those ones where he was 4 or 5 metres away and he chose to come off the mark.
Yep. Fraser plays on, not 15 to Baker, has to dodge and weave away from Ainsworth, gets it back to Bailey Dale, sends it inside 50, up goes Hines, can't take the mark, spills to ground level. Lewis tries to knock it out for the Bulldogs, now tackles Wiedering. Richards has a go, he can't knock it clear, and the players now dive on top. So those matchups Berkey was making mention of. Kemp inside the forward 50 for the Blues on Karmas. McGovern has Caulfield, and Harry Mackay at the moment is alongside Jed Buslinger with Rory Lobb in the ruck for the moment, up against Pitnet. Pitnet wins down the tap and then has to follow up again, trying to knock it forward. Fraser squeezed the kick into the pocket. Kennedy races after it. The former Blue. Hand pass 1-2 with Davidson. Corralled in, tackled and stripped by Florin. Holding the ball. Free kick going Carlton's way at left half back. It's the Blues by a point through 7 minutes.
Free kick will be taken by Ollie Florin, who just looks backwards and chips it to Dean. Sitting in the left back pocket for the Blues. And he's got a short kick ahead of him, and he spots up Carroll, hits him on the chest. Still inside defensive 50 for Carlton. It'll be a chip back out to Florin. So he's got it slightly further afield than where he started with the footy. Still left half back for the Blues. He wants his teammates to move to the dockside wing, and that's where he puts the ball right down the line. It'll be punched away and over the boundary line right into the officials' bench. And it'll be a throw-in at centre wing.
They're still a little bit stagnant, the Blues, there, Berkey. Everybody or majority of the players were looking for that ball to go down the line. So to a contest and then maybe start from there. I'd love to see some more 45s, some faster play from the Blues.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Goals to Sanders and Mackay. Rory Lobb out of the ruck. Up to Norton, who rises. Can't pull in the one-handed mark on the back of Haynes. Through the middle of the ground, Dean. Hand pass to Evans, chopped off. Taken back by Bailey Dale. His kick, hand pass to Lewis is smothered. Ricochets out the way of Ollie Florin of Carlton. Sends it out to the far wing. Bramble went early, can't take the mark. Zach Williams sockers it off the ground. Only as far as Selwood for the Bulldogs across half back. He's the loose, gathers. Hand pass away to Bramble. Sends it wide for Lewis, who's on a long lead. He takes the mark, Will Lewis. Spots Ed Richards running forward. He marks. He's 55 out from home. Tries to sidestep Haynes. Ollie Hollands lays the tackle. Dribbles a kick inside 50. Too slow. Holding the ball, and it'll come back to Ollie Hollands. He'll take the free kick for the Blues at right half back.
That's a poor decision. He actually kicked the ball. He got slung around. I don't think it was a 360, was it?
Sam Walsh did a 360 in the middle before, and the umpire called play on.
So Ollie Hollands chips backwards towards Dean. Will go right down the line. It won't be a mark in the end. It'll be an intercept coming up against Newman. It'll be a Western Bulldogs shot at goal. Bontempelli has it, snaps, and puts through the goal for the Western Bulldogs. A mistake in the defensive 50 in exiting it out of the danger zone. And the Doggies have another goal. They wrestle back the lead. 2 straight 12. The Western Bulldogs. Carlton 1-1-7. 9.5 minutes played in the first term.
Yeah, Harry Dean just lobbed the pass to his player in the corridor there, and Bontempelli, he's 3 seconds smarter than most of the players on the field, knew where it was going, got over, made the spoil, doesn't fumble below his knees and puts through a goal. So that's just one of the things Carlton have probably been giving up all year, just been giving up those goals that are just nothing goals.
It's an easy goal, isn't it, Berkey? A fantastic play by, and reading the cues by Marcus Bontempelli, who kicked the goal on his right boot, by the way. You don't see too many lefties going on their right, but he's classy enough certainly to do that.
Up to 14 goals for the season for the Bont. Emmett rises high, can't win the tab against Pitnet, got it down to Jagger Smith, kicks out to the wing. Jack Ison beaten in the marking contest, and the mark is taken by Bramble for the Bulldogs. Sends it up the wing. Presenting was Hines, spoiled away by Cowan, close to the boundary line. Bramble has it knocked out, and a boundary throw in. Poppy Penny on the boundary for us.
Yeah, you just saw Jack Ison involved in that contest. It was really nice to watch him run on for the first time. He was pretty excited to get out there.
Pick 47 in 2025. He was part of the pre-ceremony that took place with the First Nations players. As the Blues take it on the wing, charging forward is Hayward, who drives it inside 50. Kemp stayed down. Karmas and Selwood both helped to spoil out a play. And goes out in the 2-on-1 up against the right behind post. It's the Bulldogs leading by 5 points. Carlton deep in attack.
If Carlton can give their forwards enough football and inside 50s, that they're a chance tonight, because they've got the matchups down back that I really like. I think McGovern is one that's going to fall off the chain.
So Mackay picks it out of the ruck, hand passes it away towards Florent, just gets a little kick on his boot. Zach Williams digs it out off the grass, hand pass back to Jagger Smith, who tries to snap towards goal. It's picked up on the line. It won't be a score as Dale takes it and takes a bounce and takes 2 as he switches it to the right back pocket for the Western Bulldogs and darts the kick looking for Davidson. Carroll gets in front and brings it to ground. Cripps can pick it up, hand pass it to Dean. Will now put the kick inside forward 50, looking for Karmas on the lead. Not looking for Karmas. Karmas takes it on the lead and intercepts it. He could have been in Blues colours if things had gone his way at the end of last year. But he intercepts the Western Bulldogs and chips out towards Selwood.
Oh, one umpire said a mark and the other one's wave and play on.
It was what, 12.5 metres, maybe 15? We'll give it to him.
Probably should go with the one who's closer, but we never do. We always go with the guy who's further away for some reason.
Selwood long up the wing, in from the side. Wiedering can't take the mark. West is taken high by Nick Haynes, and the free kick going the Bulldogs' way on the wing. As Selwood, who's run from half-back, he receives the hand pass, looks up inside 50, not a great kick for Baker. And in the end, it clears everyone, and Ollie Hollands takes the mark. Wants to swing it for the Blues, and here's Jack Ison on debut. He marks in the back pocket, chips it up to Zach Williams. So the First Nations players combining across half-back. He looks to work it over the top as Ison's kept running. This is what he can do. Great athletic prowess as he works from half-forward all the way back to the back line to offer support, and a couple of disposals early. As on the left boot, he drives a kick up towards Harry Mackay. With one arm, can't take the mark. Got it down to Cripps. Hand pass forward. Here's a chance for Hayward to the goal square. Carroll, desperate defending in the end as Davidson sockers it through for a minor score. The Bulldogs lead is 4 points. We've played 13 minutes in the opening quarter.
He had another handball there to give, and I reckon it would have been waltzed into open goal, but he elected to kick, and it wasn't a great kick.
He had 3 options, and he chose the wrong one.
Totally the wrong one.
Caulfield brings the footy back in for the Western Bulldogs, chips it out to Newman, and chips it back to Fraser. Again, they want to bring it to the dock side of the ground, the broadcast wing. It's out towards Buslinger. Marks it right half back, looks inboard. Stutters one way, then stutters the next, and then we'll go right down the line and pop it to centre wing. Wiedering at the back, tries to get a hand to it. It might spill back down to him. He almost throws it away. It's picked up by Lewis, the Bulldogs anyway. Hand pass to Sanders. Hand pass across to Baker. He gets a hand pass out as he's being tackled. Williams tries to juggle it for the Carlton. He loses control of it. Lewis goes back in for it, and it's the Western Bulldogs that are able to emerge via Baker, who just hurries a kick inside forward 50. Harry Dean sits back there and intercepts for the Blues.
He works it short to Jagger Smith, who wants to try and swing it to the outer side. Kick hanging in the air a little while for Kemp, so Karmas makes the spoil. Racing after it, Zach Williams. Side steps around Bailey-Dale. Hand pass to Ollie Hollands to Hewitt. They link on the outer side. Now Kemp tucks it under his arm. Hand pass forward to Walsh. The forward hand pass game works. Hollands into space. Looks up. Hayward in the pocket. Gets it to him. Over the fingertips of Buslinger trying to race back. He was out of position. And the mark taken in the right forward pocket by Will Hayward. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Jacob Wiedering looking really sore after that contest on the win. He's in the hands of the doctors and the trainers, and they've kind of ushered him off, but he looks in a pretty bad way. He's hunched over and he's just vomiting on the bench, which is sorry to anyone having their dinner.
Well done, boy. So the vice-captain for the Blues, not in a great state. But Will Hayward with a chance to try and put Carlton back in front from the right forward pocket, 25 metres out. A slow, deliberate approach as he comes in and misses to the left-hand side. So a couple of chances Carlton haven't been able to take, and it's the Bulldogs who hold a 3-point lead.
A couple of big and easy chances too, Clinchy. Got to kick them. Got to put the pressure on the good teams.
Haley Dale to Fraser, who moves the footy out to centre half back. Louis Emmett marks. Made his debut in Gather Round this season. Hand passes back to Dale, who's running alongside him. Tries to kick towards Baker in the centre of Docklands. Comes off his hands. Across to Sanders, who dodges around two Blues and then spins his way and kicks out to centre wing. Across to Caulfield, who goes for a run and then stabs the pass towards Arthur Jones. Marks at right half forward for the Western Bulldogs. Kicking towards the Coventry end of Docklands in this first term. Puts the ball to a hot spot inside forward 50. At the back was West. He couldn't gather off hands. It goes through for a minor score. Another behind for the Western Bulldogs, their first of tonight. 2-1-13 the Doggies. Carlton 1-3-9. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Nick Haynes was also in the hands of the doctors there, hunched over as well. Wiedering still looking pretty worse for wear on the bench, but Haynes staying out there.
Wilson in to Chera and then to Hayward. They are getting them on the outside, the Blues, at the moment as they work it up to Kemp. At right half forward, he can get them on the overlap as Ainsworth has run into space. He marks in front of Bramble, tries to sidestep it one way, then the other. Now Corralled has to awkwardly kick on his left in the direction of McGovern. Big fly, can't come down with a footy. And Richards at the back for the Bulldogs. Hand pass to Artie Jones. Caulfield steps through a tackle. Hand pass to Richards and now to Sanders. At half back for the Dogs. Not a lot of options up the wing. Hand pass to Artie Jones. Gets it forward to Emmett down low. Surrounded by Blues. Tackled and dispossessed. Holding the ball. And Nick Newman will be rewarded for the tackle. As Haynes is a little ginger on that right ankle, he might come to the bench. Nick Newman has players in the middle of the ground. Both Wilson and Florent. In the end, it's Wilson who takes the mark. Searches it to the outer side where Carroll marks. Carroll off a step, drives it long inside 50 in the direction of Mackay. Wrestling with Artie Jones and Caulfield, who lost his footing. In fact, it was Emmett who got back in front, but was never facing Artie Jones the direction in which the ball was coming in. So trying to help, but not really helping.
It looked like he gave him a big cuddle, wasn't it? Wasn't doing too much other than giving him a big cuddle.
The Western Bulldogs forward line with Aaron Norton on the bench is completely disjointed. They go inside, there's nobody leading, everyone's looking at each other to be the main man. Twice they've come out of their back line and haven't had a key forward to kick to and had to try and invent something.
Mackay looking for his second. He comes in and slams it into the left goal post on a 45-degree angle, 45 metres out from goal. So Hayward and Mackay have both missed shots on goal. And the Bulldogs leading by 3 points as we tick past 18 minutes gone in the opening term.
And looked good off the boot, didn't it? Looked like it was going straight through the middle.
Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Haynes has come off with that ankle, but Wiedering has gone back on it. Looked like he got hit sort of in the nose and mouth and was dealing with that, but he's gone back on, and yeah, Haynes just having that ankle assessed now.
Thanks, Poppy. Good news that Wiedering's back on the field for Carlton fans as Artie Jones has the ball for the Bulldogs at right half back. Kicks towards Sanders at centre wing. Holds strong in the mark with Walsh closing late. And then just chips across to Baker, who's standing in front of the interchange gates. That was a play on call? No. It was a mark as well. And the ball is kicked back towards Caulfield. And again, they'll go back through defensive 50 here, the Western Bulldogs, as the chip goes to Bustlinger. And we'll switch it across to the outer side of the ground. Karmas leading up can take the mark. Centre wing for the Western Bulldogs. Spears the pass forward. And Williams will mark. Right at centre wing.
Good defending here by the Blues. Got their zone set up really strongly.
City side of the ground, the Doggies ahead by 3 points. A long kick from Williams to get the ball right to the top of the 50. It'll be a Carlton mark. In front of the pack there is that man, Wiedering. Back on for the Blues, and he stood at the front and intercepted the footy for the home side tonight. Carlton playing a home game at Docklands. They're trailing the Western Bulldogs by 3 points.
The voice of Lauren Borden alongside Matt Clinch calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Our Hall of Famers Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Wiedering gets it back from Ollie Hollands. Sends it into the pocket. And Florent thought about giving it back to Hollands. Instead goes a short pass to George Hewitt. He gives it back to Florent, trying to gather some run. Kicks a short pass to Cripps at half-back. He's corralled by Brambles, who turns back behind his mark and now looks out to Hollands, who marks at right half-back. So the clearance is 8-2 the way the Blues, which is the way they go early. As Wilson now takes the mark at right half-back. A kick mark game for the Blues as he tries to gather some momentum. Sends it up towards Pitnet. Norton's got back to help the defenders. Off hands, it spills the way of Ison. Into the pocket for Kemp, who takes the mark just inside the field of play. Leading Selwood to the footy. It's a tight angle, but he's about 35 metres out from goal.
It was a beautiful kick by Ison, but the decision to go boundary side rather than inside, Hayward was there by himself and had about 15 metres and would have been kicking directly in front from about 30 instead of from row 4.
Well, they've missed all the ones in front, so this one's likely to go through.
14 goals, 11 for Brodie Kemp so far. One behind last week, and he misses almost everything. Just scrapes in for a minor score, going the banana from the right forward pocket. So the Bulldogs hanging on. They lead by 2 points, despite Carlton having had the last 4 scores of the match.
You just cannot get anything working inside 50, the Bulldogs at the moment.
So they'll try again from defence as Nick Caulfield has the footy and chips it out to right half-back.
Is that through Carlton's extra number, Berkey, and their setup, or is that just because Norton's off the ground, they couldn't get nothing working?
Extra numbers as well. I think the Carlton zone, they're getting into it really, really quickly, and the Bulldogs have got nothing but a short chip sideways.
The Brambles kick a turnover. Cowan marks and can kick the Blues to left half forward. It's taken away and hand passed by Butterick. A hand pass is then picked off by Newman. Inside forward 50. It'll be a pack that forms, falls down to the ground, still in the hands of the Blues. Running onto it is Hewitt, who can pick it up and hand pass it away. It's moved by Wilson across to Carroll.
It's a beautiful kick, Carroll. Has he got this in him?
55 metres out. He swings around. He puts plenty on it. Does he have it in him? That'll tell the story. What a kick from him, Boomer. You're spot on.
Now, he's got such a beautiful field kick, and I know players, when they go back and have set shots, they change the way they kick because they think everything needs to be front on. Oh, that's a great play by him, just creeping around the mark and kicking like it's infield. And that was a beautiful, beautiful kick. He's got to back himself more.
He made it look easy in the end, the ease with which he put it through. That means Carlton are back in front by 4 points. 2-5-17, the Blues playing the Doggies 2-1-13.
Well, they deserve to be in front. They're playing the better football at the moment. Their forward line looks far more effective than what the Western Bulldogs forward line looks. And through the middle of the ground, I just love the way they got their attention to detail, setting up their defence really quick. The Bulldogs are the fastest moving team, one of the fastest moving teams in the league, but they cannot get any pace on the ball at all.
Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Pitnet down to Cripps. Hand pass chopped off by Jones. Knocks it out to Richards. Sockers the Bulldogs to half forward. Fraser fights on against Wilson. Carroll comes racing back for the Blues to offer support. Hand pass away to Newman. Now away to Florent at half back to Wilson. To the run of Cowan from half back. He kicks into the middle of the ground. Chopped off. Butterick takes the mark for the Western Bulldogs. Certainly adding some speed and some dash into the game, the Blues. Into the middle of the ground. Davidson marks. Centre wing on the dock side. Sends it up towards McNeil. He's at right half forward. Hand pass forward to Riley West. Hemmed in against the boundary line. A centering ball for Baker. Nudged underneath it by Carroll illegally, says the umpire. And this will result in a shot on goal for Oscar Baker directly in front. No more than 15 metres out.
It's hard because he was in front. Oscar Baker came from behind. He lifted his left arm up and Oscar Baker ran into that left arm. So when a bloke comes from behind, it's hard to tell exactly where you're going to hit him. And just went over the shoulder and the umpire's paid a free kick.
A career high 3 goals against Adelaide back in round 2. And Baker looking to return the Bulldogs back to the lead. Approaching the 24th minute mark. Baker from 15 out, comes in and slams it into the second tier. And the Blues hold the lead momentarily. 4th lead change of the match so far. Bulldogs back in front by 2 points. 3-1-19 to the Blues, 2-5-17. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport.
It's amazing when teams put speed on the ball, it makes the defence scramble back, Berkey, and that's just a panic-free kick because there was, I don't know, he didn't need to do it, but he had to contest and he was out of position. It's when the ball goes in slow and defenders can get great position on their opponent, it doesn't look as good. That was smooth. I like that from the Western Bulldogs. And beautiful finish. Obviously, it wasn't very far out, but that's where you want the ball. You want the ball 20 metres directly in front. No kicks from the boundaries.
Margin's never gone beyond 6 points after that first goal from Riley Sanders. It's now 2 points in the Western Bulldogs' favour. It was tossed up in the middle. Chera takes it, shrugs off a tackle, can hand pass it across to Cripps. He can get a hand pass away as he's being tackled by Jones. It's soccers away by Sanders, though. It'll work for Baker, who gets a hand pass away as he's getting run into and tackled. But there will be a free kick. And it's a Carlton free kick down to Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Bailey Williams for the Dogs has come off looking a little bit sore with that left knee. He's had a couple of painkillers and he is trying to get back on.
So Newman with the free kick from the centre of Dockland Stadium. Puts it out wide to left half forward. And the mark will be taken by Will Hayward. Just wants to chip it inside forward 50. Or plenty of Blues around the footy. Evans and Williams were there. Neither of them were able to take the mark. It's Bontempelli that can clear it away for the Dogs.
Up to Bailey Williams, so he tests up that knee as he runs the wing and kicks up towards half forward. Up went Will Lewis, can't take the one-handed mark. Wilson comes racing back for the Blues. Hand pass chopped off by Riley West. Hand pass to Sanders at right half forward. Takes the bounce, pulls his kick looking for Norton. It's a beautiful pass. Just waited the kick in front of him and allowed him to run onto it. And he takes the mark in front of Ollie Florent.
A good forward craft by Norton. He was leading into the pocket, but his right arm was signalling where he wanted the football. And so when Sanders just popped it out there into that spot where he was pointing, it was just an easy chest mark. So good connection between midfielder and key forward.
Aaron Norton with 23 goals, 10 for the season, the leading goal kicker for the Bulldogs. And it's regulation for him as he comes in and puts through his first. And the Dogs have the last 2 goals of the match. They lead by 8 points, 4-1-25 to Carlton 2-5-17. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with you.
Now, this is going to be really obvious, Berkey, but 7 scoring shots to the Blues and 5 to the Western Bulldogs. They're not only getting the ball in better positions to kick goals, but Carlton are missing the ones that they should kick. And at the end of the day, the competition is that even. That sometimes is just the difference, isn't it? It's, Norton smashes that. Haywood misses his. McKay misses his. Yeah, it's Carlton need to do everything right to be in this game.
So Western Bulldogs now leading by 8 points. Late stages of this first term. Around 10 at Docklands. Ball's tossed up in the middle. Pitnet grabs it out and kicks it forward. It's picked off by Fraser, who hand passes it to Bontempelli. He hand passes it backwards to Butterick, who tries to propel the Western Bulldogs forward by kicking it to Bailey Williams, centre wing. Nice hand pass across to Bontempelli. Tries to be dinky with the kick. It's chopped off, though, by Florent. And the Blues will move it forward here as the kick goes downfield, and it's marked by Haywood. Right at centre wing. He slows things down before thumping it on his boot to put it inside forward 50 for the Blues. The Bulldogs had the numbers. And Nick Caulfield sits back and intercepts for the Western Bulldogs, who are leading by 8 points late in this opening term.
As Caulfield kicks as far as he can up the wing, Norton comes from a long way back, has to spoil against Nick Newman and sees the ball out of play. So Florent with 8 disposals for the Blues, Cripps with 6 alongside a handful of others, Haywood, Jagger Smith and Ollie Hollands. While for the Bulldogs, 7 to Sanders and 7 to Bailey Dale. The Blues have led the clearances 9-4, including 5-2 from the centre bounce. Bulldogs by 8 points approaching quarter time. Lob and Pitnet tangle. Spills down to the front. Cripps can't gather it. Artie Jones can for the Dogs. Hand pass to Bailey Williams. Sends it up towards Lewis. In a 2-on-2, it gets to the very back where Nick Newman gets there first. Hand pass to Carlton out towards Cowan. To Jacob Wiedering, who decides to chip it back to Wilson. Not sure it would have been 15. McNeil sweats on him, forces a turnover. Hand pass out to Lewis, who might have been taken high, but it was after the quarter-time siren. Cowan comes across, and there's a bit of pushing and shoving. And the umpire now tells them to go in their separate directions. Haynes bouncing in to his teammate Cowans, and now they do head in separate directions. A spirited first quarter from the Blues, but inaccurate in front of goal. 2-5-17 to the Bulldogs, 4-1-27. So the margin, the Bulldogs weigh 8 points at quarter time. The goals of the Dogs to Sanders, Bontempelli, Baker and Norton. The Bulldogs finishing with the last 2 goals of the quarter, while Mackay and Carroll are the goal kickers for the Blues. Earlier today, the Demons with a big upset victory over the Hawks by 39 points. Harrison Petty booted 3 goals. As the Demons led by 6 points at quarter time, then kicked 6 goals to 4 in the third quarter to take a 20-point advantage. End up running out 18-12, 120 to the Hawks, 12-9, 81. They kicked 13 of the last 20 goals of the match. And the Adelaide Crows winners by 68 points over North Melbourne. They kicked 10 unanswered goals in the second quarter to lead by 66 points at halftime. And not good news, unfortunately, for Collingwood fans. Scans confirming Oscar Steen has suffered a ACL, so the 22-year-old out for the rest of the season. Quarter time at Docklands. The Western Bulldogs by 8 points. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
This is going to be quite a ride.
Every dream restoration starts with something worth holding on to.
We were in love. We figured we'd work it out.
Restoration Australia.
This is magnificent.
Back May 21 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nichols Round with ABC Sport.
Now playing his 44th match, Riley Sanders comes in on a 45-degree angle, will kick from 45 metres out to put this one towards goal and score the opener. It's through. Plenty of players on the line, none can get a fingertip to it, and Riley Sanders scores the opener.
First goal the way of the Western Bulldogs. Jagged Smith tries to take it, going one direction was Walsh, Fraser the other. Walsh takes the mark, out past the Chera, into the centre square, looks inside 50, Mackay the target and takes the pack in a four-player contest. Now to complete the deed in front of goal in the left forward pocket, only about 15 metres out. Mackay for Carlton's first, and they're on the board under the roof.
Ali Hollands chips backwards towards Dean. Will go right down the line. It won't be a mark in the end. It'll be an intercept coming up against Newman. It'll be a Western Bulldogs shot at goal. Bontempelli has it, snaps and puts through the goal for the Western Bulldogs.
It's a beautiful kick, Carol. Has he got this in him?
55 metres out. He swings around. He puts plenty on it. Does he have it in him? That'll tell the story. What a kick from him, Boomer. You're spot on.
Baker from 15 out, comes in and slams it into the second tier. And the Blues hold the lead momentarily. Fourth lead change of the match so far. Bulldogs back in front by 2 points. Aaron Norton with 23 goals, 10 for the season. The leading goal kicker for the Bulldogs. And it's regulation for him as he comes in and puts through his first.
This is Sir Doug Nichols Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
First quarter for Carlton under caretaker coach Josh Fraser, but it's the Western Bulldogs who lead by 8 points at quarter time. An accurate 4-1-25 to an inaccurate 2-5-17 for Carlton. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport.
I think most of the stats look pretty even. 12 inside 50s to Carlton and 13 to the Western Bulldogs. It's just probably the missed opportunities that Carlton have had, and even their options going inside forward 50s, probably going more boundary side than central. And in contrast to that, the Western Bulldogs are getting the ball in great positions, directly in front, 30, 25 out, and finishing off. And that's hence 4-1 Western Bulldogs to 2-5 Carlton. I think Carlton are using the ball really well by hands, and we've seen a couple of times they've transitioned the ball from defensive 50 into 50 without kicking the ball. It's all been handballs, and then last little kick just going a little wide as mentioned. But I think it's been a great start by Carlton. 5 centre bounce clearances to 2 as well. So giving the forwards an opportunity, I just hope that they can give the forwards those opportunities to Mackay and to McGovern, who I feel could have an advantage over their undersized defenders. So we'll find out a little bit more in this second quarter if they can put the ball in better positions.
It's obvious that Josh Fraser hasn't just said, hey, boys, go out there, take the game on and play, because their defensive structures are really, really good at this point. It's made it difficult for the fast-moving Bulldogs to get the game from their defensive end up to their forward end with any sort of free motion. The trick will be, can they keep that up? Can they keep that pressure up on the Bulldogs? Because if you just one or two players don't quite get their spots, the Bulldogs will hurt you. And as we've seen, the Bulldogs aren't tall up forward either. So Norton is the main guy up there. Rory Lobb had a bit of a rest up there, but he won't spend much time up there. So they need to get the ball inside 50 really quickly, because chances of taking a pack mark aren't really high. So to me, the key for this game for Carlton is, can they keep that defensive structure, especially through the middle of the ground, to slow down the Western Bulldogs? And then capitalise when they get those shots at the other end, because 2 goals 5, that could come back to haunt them.
I mentioned McGovern and Mackay having an advantage. What the Western Bulldogs do really well, and I was just watching Caulfield on McGovern there for a little bit, who is undersized. When McGovern comes up, he realises he's not getting used there, because Carlton don't drop their eyes a lot, and he drops off and he becomes that third man, and that's where they get their spare from. So the Carlton forwards, in particular those tall ones that need the lead forward, once you realise I'm not getting it, you need to pull out of that lead and come back and not give the Western Bulldogs a spare, because that's where they generate all their scores from, their score launches.
Carlton have been such a consistent side scoring from clearances, so Rory Lobb starts in the middle of the ground. As soon as Mark Pitnet takes a breather, he'll come to the bench, and Louis Emmett comes in, and Harry Mackay is doing a bit of the second ruck work for the Blues. But the Bulldogs by 8 points as the second quarter is about to get underway. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Pitnet up against Lobb. Pitnet wins down the tap comfortably. Bontempelli tries to knock it clear for the Doggies. Can't gather. Lobb picks it up. Hand pass to Sanders. Feeds the hand pass back to Bailey Dale. Kicks out to the broadcast wing where the mark is taken by Bailey Williams. Wants to play on. Cuts onto his right. Sends a high ball looking for Aaron Norton. Getting back Dean. Spoils it across the body. Arnie Jones runs into it. Bounces into his opponent in Pitnet. Spills out the way of Norton. Off the step. Snaps on goal and misses to the left-hand side. The Bulldogs lead by 9 points. Just 30 seconds gone in the second quarter.
Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Josh Fraser in his first quarter-time address looked very comfortable. He kept the group in. He let the line coaches do their thing, and then he had a good chat to them right at the end of quarter-time and spoke with Zach Williams for quite a long time before he let the group go. So he looked pretty comfortable in the role.
Thanks, Poppy's first quarter-time address of the AFL side. So it is the Blues that are working it out of defensive 50. The kick comes towards Chera. That's Baslinger who gets in front of him and punches it away over the boundary for a throw-in at half-back for the Blues. So Western Bulldogs up by 9 points early stages of this second term after 4 lead changes in the opener. Tossed in, Pitnet goes at it with 2 hands, jugs it into his control and then shoves it on his boot to centre wing. It'll be picked off though by Dale, who hand passes it across to Butterick, running right through the centre of Docklands. Can hand pass it across to Karmas, who'll kick it out wide and put it in the path of Jones if he can run onto it. In the end, Cowan might get there first. He does. Jones holds on to him and just picks the pocket of his opponent, although there'll be a whistle. It did go over the boundary line for a throw-in. So very close to the boundary line there, and Jones just couldn't keep it in play. It'll be a throw-in at half-back for Carlton. It's tossed in with Pitnet against Lobb. Neither can get a clean tap away. In the end, it's picked up by Kennedy, who takes it, hand passes it to Sanders, who wants to hand pass backwards towards Dale, will then propel the Western Bulldogs forward with a flat kick. It'll dribble its way inside forward 50. It comes down to Bramble, bounces off his face into Bontempelli, ricochets off him, and it's the Blues that'll emerge via Dean, who hand passes it across to Hollins, who wants to kick down the wing, where he'll be able to find the safe hands of Hayward.
Hayward marks with tangles over the boundary line with Buku Karmas, so gets back to his feet and looks to cut it inboard with a kick that finds Wilson.
And he couldn't go forward there because Western Bulldogs are set up really well with a couple of spares behind the ball.
Billy Wilson picked 34 from 2023. Running half-back who played the 4 games last season. Kicks up towards half-forward. Pitnet slaps it over. Trying to run onto it. Hayward knocked away from him. Selwood desperately defending. Tackle brought down. Butterick likewise. And the Bulldogs' defence is being tested as Selwood's in some pain. He's slowly getting to his feet.
Yeah, when you get tackled from behind and all your weight goes onto your left shoulder, he's luckily he's got them taped, because if he probably didn't, he'd be in a fair bit of pain.
Lobb wins down the tap for the Bulldogs. Cripps tries to get a hand pass clear. Jagger Smith can't break through a tackle of 2 Doggies, in which he's going to be penalised.
Ed Richards, just the 4 possessions in that first quarter. Not a lot of him. Bontempelli just had the 5. Cripps was the maiden midfielder with 7.
Zach Williams, who was trying to do enough to convince the umpire who's trying to knock it clear, not played, and Kennedy has kicked to half-back as sport out of play and a boundary throw-in. The Bulldogs by 9 points, 4-2-26 to Carlton 2-5-17 earlier today. Narm, the Demons, winners by 39 points over Hawthorn, and Kawara Adelaide defeating North Melbourne by 68 points.
Ball tossed in. It comes out and it's picked off by Walsh, who spins around the 360 and then pops it on his boot. He's looking for Evans. Over the top was Butterick, who punches it away. On the turf, Evans tries to pick it up. Artie Jones gets in there. He's mobbed and brought to the turf by Hayward. And it'll be a ball up right at centre half forward for the Blues.
They're doing a lot right, the Blues. Their setup's good. They've just got to clean up their disposals by hand a little bit. And they can kick some goals here.
So Sanders tries to take it from the restart. Hand passes it away to Bontempelli. He can't pick it up cleanly. This time Cripps will try and curl it outside of towards a teammate. He can't. Bailey Williams was there to pick it up for the Western Bulldogs. He's inside the centre of Docklands. Norton takes it, moves it across to Bontempelli. He'll put the kick inside forward 50. It's a 2-on-1. Blues have the numbers and Wiedering wins out. Can hand pass it across to Haynes, who just wants to clear it out of defensive 50. He's looking for McGovern. Had two hands on the footy. Couldn't take the mark, and it'll be the Western Bulldogs going forward again. Bailey Williams this time, propelling it towards Baker, who rolls around on the turf, gets a hand pass away. But it'll be picked up by the Blues. Cripps with it, hand passes it to Walsh, gets it back to Cripps. He can hand pass to Dean, flicks it to McGovern, and he'll send it outside to the City wing, where again it's Hayward with a nice juggling mark.
Beautiful mark. Strong mark.
He's rolling to the ground, had Kennedy on his tail, but's able to hold on to the grab.
He held him up and prevented him moving in quickly, so comes into the middle of the ground where Wilson takes the mark. Florence pushed back from half back, gets to half forward. Marks, hand pass to Walsh on the run, off balance. And it drifts out of bounds on the full to the right-hand side. And unable to control the weight of his momentum. So the Blues have had some chances. Mackay in the first quarter, Kemp as well, Hayward, and now throw into that list Sam Walsh, whose kick fails to score. It's the Bulldogs leading by 9 points as they try and find a way out of defence. Davidson gets the hand pass to Bailey Dale. Possession number 11 for him as he works it up to the wing. Kennedy marks inside 50. Great kick. Artie Jones takes the mark in the right forward pocket. He's 45 metres out from home.
Yeah, smart lead by Artie Jones. He knows how far Kennedy can kick the ball, so he feigned to go forward, then shot out the back, knowing that Kennedy's got a long enough leg to get it way over the top of his defender, who was playing in front.
But the opposition there, Wilson, he didn't, because he took front position, and it wasn't by 3 or 4 metres, Berkey. It was about 15 metres. He didn't realise the length of the kick and didn't play that super well at all.
Here's a live wire. The small forward is Artie Jones from 48 metres out. Won't quite have the journey. The Blues compete against themselves in the end. Wiedering and Haynes, and off hands it goes through for a minor score. The Bulldogs leading by 10 points. 6.5 minutes gone. Second quarter, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So Blues work it in towards Wilson in the left back pocket. He wants to move it on cleanly towards Dean, who marks at centre half back. Slow moving out of defence as Dean retreats and gets it back to Wiedering, who's about 40 minutes out of defensive goal.
Just Harry Dean just taking those easy options now, because his first 2 kicks were just lobbed and spoiled away from his teammate.
He chips to Cowan, who marks.
Smart boy. Learn from your mistakes.
And Cowan will load up on his kick and get it to a pack that'll be forming on centre wing. It'll be close to the boundary line. Bustlinger tries to punch it away, and it'll go over for a boundary throw-in, which gives us a chance to check in with Poppy Penny.
Yeah, Bustlinger's actually gone down to the rooms. He's having his shoulders looked at, I think. He looked in quite a lot of pain. And the other one is Oscar Baker. He came off with a pretty nasty corky, but he had to go straight back on because of rotation. So he's trying to run that out, I think.
Thanks, Poppy. A throw in that eludes both Pitnet and Rory Lobb. Running onto it, Jagger Smith kicks wide of Harry Mackay. This will be a lasso free kick the way of the Bulldogs, and Buku Karmas will take it.
They've just got to be a little bit cleaner, Berkey, don't they, from stoppage? They're winning enough stoppage around the ground. Just an extra handball to put a player in time and space where he can have half a second longer to kick the ball inside 50 and actually hit a target.
Karmas goes short to Baker, just 15 as he marks it left half back in front of Ainsworth. One-on-ones further afield. Marcus Bontempelli, 9 disposals and a goal. Patrick Cripps leads the way for the Blues with 11 up towards the wing. Norton tries to wrestle Wiedering out of the way, and off hands it goes out of play for a boundary thrown in front of the 2 benches.
Karmas has had to go back onto Harry Mackay now with Bustlinger off the ground, and an undersized Western Bulldogs defence cannot afford to him to be off for too long, so let's hope he re-emerges.
And Hayward barking instructions, trying to get those matchups right. A throw-in in which the 2 rucks held each other back. Now, I'm assuming this is a Mark Pitnet free kick, although the umpire hasn't pointed. Now he does against Rory Lobb. This will be one of the crucial matchups to keep an eye on tonight. Hand pass from Pitnet around the back to Cowan. Sends it out wide to Kemp, who marks in front of the 2 benches. The Bulldogs by 10 points. 9 minutes gone, second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Stands with the footy and directs Cowan to move backwards to where he chips. And he'll move it across to Wiedering at centre half back. He can bring it to left half back where Dean was. Instead he goes further afield than that, and Haynes tries to take it at centre wing. It's stolen back by the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass away from Bontempelli to Butterick. He's picked off. Now Walsh has it for the Blues. That's picked off by Fraser, who'll just dribble his kick right along the wing. Artie Jones will run onto it, can pick it up. His hand pass though picked off by Florent as it changes hands once again. It could be going back the way of the Western Bulldogs. Wiedering gets involved, tries to soccer it away, but there's a holding free kick, and will be going the way of the Blues and Florent.
Blues missed a chance there. Pitnet had pushed forward because he's their undersized defence. Roy Lobb hadn't gone with him. If they had to just kick the ball forward rather than trying to overdo their handball, which they're not great at, Pitnet can potentially take an uncontested mark up forward.
So Florent chipped to Hollands, who worked it in a one-on-one and got it back from Smith, and darts the kick right down the centre of Docklands towards Kemple Mark. He wants to move the footy on quickly and can pop it inside 50 for the Blues. Selwood got in front for the Western Bulldogs, allowing Caulfield to pick it up. Hand pass it across to Baker, who puts it on his boot, and he'll be able to clear for the Dogs.
Up towards half-back. Cowan knocks it down to Kemp. Quick hand pass releases Cowan. Pokes the kick into the pocket. Hayward marks. Dumped by Baker. As he took the mark, he's just outside 50 and the umpire won't give any further penalty.
That's the old make him earn it.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. I like it, and I like the fact that the umpire didn't panic and pay 50 metres.
Well, it was in the marking contest, wasn't it? He just made him earn it a little bit harder than he normally would.
Well, you never know these days. Sometimes you get 50 for just being a little bit too rough.
I'm hearing you, Nathan.
So Hayward, where the boundary line meets the 50-metre arc. 6 goals, 8 in his first season as a Blue. He tries to poke a kick, looking for Mackay. He ran into the back of Caulfield, and in the end he's almost apologetic as Buku Kamas comes in to remonstrate. So it's the Western Bulldogs who lead by 10 points. 11 minutes gone, second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
I don't know why on earth you would kick it to that spot.
The ball tossed in. Baker tries to soccer it away. Smith can pick it up. He hand passes it away to Evans, who'll snap towards goal himself. It'll go completely across the face of goals, and Karmas will sit back and easily hold on to the mark. Move it across to Davidson, who marks just outside defensive 50. He kicks right along the city wing. Jones was at the back, couldn't take the mark, falls into the hands of Haynes. Hand pass across to Florent, and he can flick it back across to Newman, who then chips it forward towards Walsh. Marks at centre wing for the Blues and can spot up Chera right in the centre of Docklands. And with 2 centre circles he marks. And swivel and pop it on his boot, get some distance on his kick to a pack that'll be forming. It's punched away by Karmas into the right forward pocket. It might work for the Blues here. Hayward has it, wants to centre along the ball. Davidson gets a hand on it, and then all the players dive on top of the footy and on top of Jack Ison, who'll be pinned for holding the ball. He didn't have much of an opportunity there.
He ducked into it a little bit, and I think that's what the umpire's seen.
Ooh.
I've seen worse.
Oh, I've seen a lot worse, Berkey. He didn't have very long, I know that.
It's almost a reaction to duck around someone trying to tackle you, but it will be a Western Bulldogs free kick.
Although the intercepting mark taken from Harry Mackay from the Caulfield kick. Inside 50. Cripps, was he taken higher? A push? It's a push. And the Carlton captain's going to get a free kick. Slightly left of centre. He's only about 30 metres out. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Bailey Williams has just gone down to the rooms with what looks like a really bad hammy. He couldn't even get off the ground on his own. He needed the help of 2 trainers. So the Dogs are now down to 3 on the bench because Bustlinger is still down there as well.
Thanks, Poppy.
So he's going around the corner here, Patrick Cripps. This tells me he's not confident in his goal kicking at all, because this should be a set shot drop punt directly in front.
After Michael Voss departed after 5 years at the Blues, Patrick Cripps kicks it around his body and puts through a goal for the Blues. The first of the second quarter, which comes 13 minutes in. And the Bulldogs lead is cut back to 4 points. The captain trying to lead from the front. The Bulldogs 4-3-27 to Carlton 3-5-23. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey, your experts. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So, Berkey, I would love to see Patrick Cripps go forward more. And everybody I say this to, they say, yeah, but he can't kick. Well, you know what? Learn to kick. He's the same size as Wayne Carey. Now, he's an elite midfielder. I know that. But as he's towards the end of his career in terms of inside getting smashed every week, send him forward after half-time. See if he can hit the scoreboard. But that one there around the corner, I'm not sure. He knows his kicking ability, and he's gone around the corner directly in front. At least he kicked it.
You got the result. Western Bulldogs ahead by 4 points down to Poppy Penny.
Bevo's just made his way down to the bench as well. As I mentioned, they're down 2 players and Bevo's down here barking orders.
Thanks, Poppy is from the middle. Hollins takes it and he's dragged down to the turf. Umpire calls play on. It's picked up by Kennedy, who hand passes to Sanders. Drops a kick inside, forward 50. Cowan easily sits there and intercepts for the Blues. Can flare it out wide towards Carroll. Hollins slow to get up as well for the Bulldogs as it's moved across to Haynes and he chips it towards Newman. Hand passes it to Carroll. Hand passes it to Haynes. All on the outer side of the ground at centre wing. He pops it on his boot. It's a hurried kick forward. It bounces once. It hits Haywood on the shin. He'll go in and try and grab it out, but it's Selwood who can pick it for the Dogs. Hand pass to Karmas. Inside defensive 50 for the Bulldogs. Hand passes it to Butterick as they switch it across to the dock side of Docklands. It'll work as McNeil takes it and can move it across to Richards. He puts it on his boot right down the wing. Jones had front position on Hollins. Has to go back to pick it up. He gets tackled to the turf. The umpire will call ball.
Goodness me.
And the Blues will win it. So that's a free kick going the way of Hollins. Dean's taken the footy. He's been tackled in all of that as they didn't hear the whistle.
I'm not even sure Artie Jones had the ball in that little passage of play, but Sanders coming through the middle. Aaron Norton is now still on the bench. The Western Bulldogs forward line was completely inept. Nobody led. Everyone was waiting for somebody else to do something. So I think if Norton's off, maybe Bont goes forward because they need a focal target.
Hollins inboard to Chera. Switches across half back. Nick Newman marks it. True centre half back. Into the middle of the ground. Haynes dropped the mark. Fraser overran the footy. Newman just shovels out a hand pass. That was a throw. The umpire didn't see any fist involved, so a chance for the Dogs. Fraser on the break, looks into the pocket. West trying to get back. Cowan crashes into him. Off hands, it goes towards the boundary line. Wilson tries to deliberately tap it over the line, and the umpire says throw it in. Poppy Penny on the Bulldogs injuries on the boundary.
Yeah, well, this one's a Blues injury. Ollie Hollins has come off and he's looking proppy as well, but there is good news. Bustlinger is back up on the bench for the Bulldogs, so they're now down to 4 with that injury to Williams.
So Baker bustling it for the Dogs. Ollie Hollins a watch for the Blues. Bulldogs by 4 points. Carlton with the only goal so far of this second quarter after the Dogs led by 8 points at quarter time. Wilson tries to get a hand pass clearing for the Blues. Chopped off by Sanders. One way, then the other. High kick into the pocket. Artie Jones sets himself. Can't fly with Newman in front. Spoils to the front where Richards gathers. Hand pass to Davidson. Cuts back on his right. Kicks towards the teeth of goal. Lewis can't take the mark. Bontempelli's the crummer. Kept his footing. Hand pass to Artie Jones. Can't get a disposal away. Desperate defending. Florent taps it towards Newman, hard against the boundary line. A desperate kick. Davidson flies on the back of Chera and takes it on the second bite. He marks 45 metres out to the right. He got the sit on Chera. Didn't quite hold on to the spectacular mark, but did take it on the second bite.
Well, Boomer, you're going to call this one? Shot from outside 50?
Yeah, I don't think he's got the distance in him. And if he has, he's going to have to run far right, which will send him boundary side.
The Bulldogs with 2 behinds in this second quarter to Carlton's 1 straight. Davidson will have to kick from 50. He kicks into the man on the mark, Chera. It ricochets out. He runs onto it, and now he's swarmed on by 3 Blues. And the umpire says he has no prior opportunity to get rid of it.
You give me that one, Berkey? Yeah. Two from 2?
Yeah, well, he only kicked it 3 metres.
Well, the reason why he got so close is because he was struggling with the distance, I would have presumed.
All right, you can have that.
So tossed up. Sanders goes in after it, but it's cleared away. It'll make its way out to Dale, who tries to grab it against Evans. They both tap it out and go over the boundary line.
It is funny goal kicking, Burke, and I'm really big on this. The players go away from their natural kicking style when they have a set shot on goal. Yeah, nearly everybody kicks with a natural arc, but when you go for a goal, everything straightens up, shoulders, hips, and it's not natural.
Tossed in at half forward for the Western Bulldogs. It'll be the Blues that emerge with the footy, streaming right through the centre of Docklands. Cripps hand passes it across to Ainsworth, who puts it inside forward 50. Zach Williams is fighting for the footy and can win out against Selwood. Will chip it right to the top of the goal square. No mark can be taken by Kemp. He goes in after it. He goes in for a third attempt. In the end, he can't take it away. Evans can. He has it. Hand passes it towards the boundary, and it does go over the boundary for a forward 50 throw-in for the Blues. It's Western Bulldogs leading by 4 points, 18 minutes played in the second term. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, the doctors are very busy down here. Ollie Hollins is now down in the rooms for Carlton with a left ankle issue.
Thanks, Poppy. Interesting with the ball stuck on the other side. Mitch McGovern's been on the bench for about 10 minutes. Cripps in the ruck. Can't get a disposal away as he tried to take possession. Spills out the way of Selwood. Kicks towards the boundary line. This will be a lasso through kick. And the Blues will take it back through Will Haywood. Still 2 kicks out from goal, though. 60-odd metres up against the boundary.
16 players from each team inside forward 50 for the Blues.
Haywood comes inboard. Yeah, Jagger Smith marks, but he's no closer to goal. So it's just about the whole Bulldogs team inside the defensive 50. Tough one to mark. Flying in front was Kemp. Can't take the mark as it spills out to Sanders. He relieves with a kick up towards halfback. McNeil in front. Can't mark for the Bulldogs. Overrunning the footy, Ainsworth. And Lewis gets a hand pass out for the Dogs to Bontempelli. They'll have to use it well here. Fraser thought it was intended for Baker. Let it go. Racing back George Hewitt. 1-2 for Carlton with Wilson. To Wiedering. At centre half back, cuts on his right hand side, kicks out to Haynes, spoiled away by Norton. Fraser gathers, hand pass to Bontempelli, kicks up to Baker, who lunges forward and marks it left half forward for the Doggies.
Blues are stiff there. They didn't see Aaron Norton coming off the bench.
Bulldogs by 4 points. Comes inboard, the kick for Fraser. 1-2 with Bontempelli. Fraser centres the kick and bustling it back onto the field, takes the mark to centre half forward where Bramble takes it at the edge of the centre square. Davidson leads into the pocket, now straightens up. West comes leading out, juggles the mark, does he? Don't think anyone touched it. Riley West claims it, the small forward. Davidson tried to cut his way in front. 2 Blues in Hewitt and also Cowan couldn't get a hand to it, and the mark is taken pretty much directly in front, 35 metres out.
So the Western Bulldogs have done exactly what Carlton couldn't do. That kick when you're 60 metres out and there's 16 players, 32 players in the back defensive 50, just goes to the top of the goal square. You're relying on a little bit of luck. Western Bulldogs found another one there.
5 goals, 8 this season for Riley West, looking to make the most of it, and he does. The Bulldogs with their first goal of the second quarter. It comes at the 21-minute mark. And the Dogs back in front by 10 points, having led by 8 at quarter time. 5-3-33 to Carlton 3-5-23. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
That's the kick, Berkey, where before he had that shot, you're 60 metres out. If you can find another one, and I know it was crowded in the Carlton forward 50, but that's probably because they were so slow to get the ball in. You've just got to go. Drop the eyes, something's going to happen. You keep kicking to the same spot, especially if Western Bulldogs, Karmas coming over the top and a big spoil. You've just got to find that one extra kick for me, and the Bulldogs were able to do that in West. Small forward, not a marking forward, is he?
8 individual goal kickers for the game. The Bulldogs, 5 have all come through different goal kickers.
Tossed up in the middle. Pitnet can just get a little tap away. It's roved by Fraser. He's happy to take the tackle from Smith, and we'll have another ball up inside the centre circles. Poppy on the boundary.
Yeah, Ollie Hollands has emerged from the rooms and he's just doing some run-throughs on the boundary line. He doesn't look entirely comfortable, but I think he is going to try and test that left ankle out.
Thanks, Poppy. So Bailey Williams also down in the rooms from a Western Bulldogs side of things. A few injuries throughout the first half for both sides. It's tossed up again and Pitnet gets a little tap out, taken by Kennedy, who hand passes it to McNeil. Tries to hand pass it to Dale over the top of his hands and his head. Doesn't matter, he just soccers it as far as he can. It gets a fair distance on it, and West could run onto the footy city side of Dockland Stadium, puts the kick inside forward 50. Lewis sliding forward, funks the mark on his hands and knees.
Yeah, super kick by West. You had Aaron Norton leading at him about 30 metres away, and normally you'd think, okay, Aaron Norton, I'll put it out in the front there, we're going to get it, but saw the player over the top 50 metres away, running towards the boundary, and it was an excellent kick out in front.
Brilliant, wasn't it? It was a 55-metre low dart.
Will Lewis now gets a set shot, more difficult than a 45-degree angle, about 45 metres out towards goal. And he puts it across, and it's a minor score. The Western Bulldogs lead is pushed out to a game-high 11 points. It's 5-4-34 the Dogs, the Blues 3-5-23.
Nick Newman quickly brings the Blues back into play to Florent, who chips it up to Ollie Hollands. He has it at right half back. He was one of the concerned players on the boundary throughout this quarter. The Bulldogs by 11 points. Kicks long in the direction of McGovern against 2. He competes in the air. Spoils to the front where Hewitt's hand pass to McGovern chopped off. Sanders stripped of it. It spills out. Here's a chance for Evans down low. Tries to knock it out to McGovern. Just hacks the kick up towards half forward. Bulldogs players come charging out, and the mark is taken by Bramble At left half back in front of Ison. Kicks inboard. Baker just took the mark as Carroll tried to get a fist in there. Switches to half back. Davison plays on for the Doggies. Looks out wide. Chips it over the top to Fraser. Barely 15, centre of the City wing. Out pass back to Davidson. Now links up with Dale. Too slow. Cowan reels him in and wins the free kick for holding the ball for the Blues.
Yeah, well done, Cowan. He was the one that was on the mark originally and followed through with a 20-metre sprint to make that tackle.
So Cowan wins the free and loads up on his kick to put it right down the wing. Davidson had front position, a few fingertips to it, enough to bring it down to ground. It's picked up and chipped away in the end by Hines, who only gets it a little distance away, but it will work for the Western Bulldogs as Bramble takes it, hand passes it to Dale. Hand passes it across to Sanders, who takes a bounce, then slips over. Can still get a hand pass away as Wilson was closing in on him, but it's brought over the boundary line by Baker for a throw-in at half forward for the Western Bulldogs. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Bailey Williams confirmed to take no further part in this game with that hamstring injury.
Thanks, Bobby. Not good news for the Doggies. They lead by 11 points, having led at quarter time by 8. Thrown back in. Pitnet up against Lobb. Lobb tries to take another ruck for the Dogs. Spills out the way of Fraser. Can't get a disposal away. Florent to Wilson. Hand pass to Hewitt. Back to Florent at half back. Gets the hand pass away to Cowan. Sends it up the wing. Carroll got rid of Davidson. And takes the mark for the Blues. Centre wing on the City side. Spots Ison free. The debutant marks.
This is where they've got to find that extra one.
He looks towards McGovern and Kemp, who are inside the forward 50. Sends it deepest towards McGovern. Bustlinger makes the spoil. Awkward ball for Bramble. Getting back in the end. Good support from Butterick. Gets it out to Bustlinger. Kicks a high ball to half back. The Blues are well set. And Carroll takes the mark.
Still a couple of kicks from home for the Western Bulldogs. 65 metres out. We'll just pop this one into a hot spot. Plenty of players will be at the drop. Lobb claims the mark. Was it touch? The umpire does call play on. Oh, he might have been paid that in another situation. It spills out the back. Hollins can just soccer it away. Could this work for the Western Bulldogs? Not quite. Hewitt has a snap. It's offline for the Blues, rather. And just a minor score, which means late they'll just get their behind added to their tally. 3-6-24, trailing the Western Bulldogs 5-4-34.
Bailey Dale quickly out of defence. Got it from Butterick. They work it to half back. The hand pass from Selwood set a challenge for Davidson, and he's tackled and brought down, and the umpire will ball it up. Left half forward for the Blues. They're 3-6-24 to the Bulldogs 5-4-34. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Borden, Poppy Penny on the boundary. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you. Walsh tries to extract the footy. He can't break clear. It's stuck underneath Ben Ainsworth and Riley Sanders. The ladder gives it back to the umpire. Quickly throws it up. Lobb wins down the tap. Walsh tries to take possession. Hand pass chopped off by Kennedy. Tackled by Smith. Not sure he got a hand pass away. Play on's the call. Butterick tackled and brought down. And the umpire caught on the blind side will ball it up.
Both teams are happy to have a forward come up around the stoppage. That's why it's so congested. Selwood is free in the Dogs' backline, and the Blues have got one free up the other end.
Pitnet gets the final tap out of that opening half. Just 2 goals scored in that second term. So a low-scoring second term. It's only about 26 or 27 minutes played in the second quarter. It is the Western Bulldogs with a 10-point lead. They led by 8 points at quarter time. It only got as high as 11 points and then just cut back to 10 points with that late Carlton point. So it is the home side for tonight's match. Carlton with their new coach Josh Fraser, or the interim coach for the remainder of this season, in charge. Carlton 3-6-24 are trailing the Western Bulldogs 5-4-34. Western Bulldogs ahead by 10 points. The goal kickers for tonight for the Western Bulldogs: Marcus Bontempelli, Riley Sanders, Oscar Baker, Riley West and Aaron Norton all have singles. And on the Carlton side of things, it's all singles as well, with Paddy Cripps, Harry Mackay and Matthew Carroll each with goals as well. But it is the Western Bulldogs ahead by 10 points at the main break.
Just 27 minutes that second quarter with just the 2 goals scored. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Well, well called, guys, because it wasn't an entertaining quarter by any stretch of imagination. You mentioned only 1 goal kicked in from both teams. 11 inside 50s that quarter to Carlton, 9 to the Western Bulldogs. And I know Burkey was on about the forward 50 structure for the Western Bulldogs, and it doesn't look fantastic when Aaron Norton's off. But Berkey, they've got to give the opportunity. If 9 inside 50s, it's not a lot of football going in. On the other end of the ground, Carlton are allowing Western Bulldogs to have a spare. Now, it's normally calmest just through general play, and every time they get the ball, they look up, and they're so slow to go in. I think the Carlton Football Club need to identify where their spare is. If it's an extra at the stoppage, maybe use their hands a little bit more, and that last handball to be cleaner, Berkey. I'd love to see one more handball where it puts a teammate in the time and space where they have got 2 or 3 seconds to look up and hit a target going inside 50. Because at the minute, the Western Bulldogs are winning that battle. They've got a spare behind the ball. They're putting pressure on the stoppage, and Carlton are just putting it on their boot and kicking it directly back to their spare.
Yeah, it seems like Josh Fraser has said our strength is that congested stoppage game. And I'm not going to fix that within a week. So let's exploit that and let's play that way, because you're quite right. They're bringing an extra forward up, so they've got an extra midfield around the stoppage. Bulldogs are saying, well, you can do that. Well, because what we'll do is we'll win the ball in our back half and then go around you on the way back. At the moment, they're not very efficient at going around them because they're actually doing a pretty good job of defending that middle third of the ground. I can't see that continuing in the second half, because when you get a bit tired, stretching over the whole middle of the ground trying to defend it becomes really, really tough. So I think Carlton, what I'd like to see is, you know what, I'm going to back Walsh, and I'm going to back Cripps, and I'm going to back Monchera, and I'm going to back Jager Smith, those guys in the middle, and I'm not going to put an extra one in there. I'm going to make it even. 5-on-5, 6-on-6 up forward, and let's lock that ball into our forward line, because I think at the moment it's working in the first half, but he's playing with fire in this second half if he continues that way, because it's so hard to stop the Western Bulldogs for a whole game transitioning that ball from the back half to the front half. So it's worked so far. I don't think it's going to work in the second half, but we'll see. For the Western Bulldogs, they're very Aaron Norton focused. Without him down there, they look a little bit lost. Is it Lewis? Is he the next tall? Are we just relying on Riley West to play as a tall? We've seen plenty of small blokes in the history of the game actually lead like good forwards do. I think it's Stephen Milne. We always used to have to tell Milne off and say, mate, your job is to crumb, even though you're 2 seconds ahead, smarter than the big fellas. You're leading into their lanes. But we might let Riley Smith have that role, because they need a focal point other than Aaron Norton at the moment, and they're just struggling to find out who that is.
You mentioned the Western Bulldogs ball movement, and they will end up wearing you down, and they've been going around them, as you mentioned. Bailey Williams is key to that, off half-back with Dale.
Yep.
He goes out with a hamstring. He's only had the 7 possessions, so not a huge impact on the game, but they always look... He's such a beautiful user with the ball, Berkey. Every time he ggets it or Dale gets it, you know that ball's probably going to get ran 10 metres to 15 metres, and then it's going to get kicked 45 to 55 metres. So they become a 70-metre player, essentially. So they lose him, which could be really, really significant for the Western Bulldogs going forward.
Can Selwood and Bramble and these blokes step up into that role?
I think they can, absolutely, but I don't think they can do it at the capacity of Bailey Williams and the consistency that he does it with.
Brad Harvey and Nathan Burke with their thoughts to halftime. Your thoughts on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Simon and Sean from the York Peninsula say entertaining call and expert commentary. Yes, the goal kicking in the AFL is the most disappointing aspect of the game after inconsistent umpiring. Detracts from the enjoyment. Annie in Canberra says, g'day team, thanks to the call as a 30-year Blues member. Can I ask, can you see anything different tonight from the Blues? It seems rather flat from the supporters.
No, I haven't seen anything different. I think Josh Fraser, he's recognised their strength, which is the stoppage game, and making it a bit of a clog, and he said, well, I can't change that within a week. We're going to stick to our strength.
I actually thought there was a little bit of a difference at the start of the first quarter with their hands, and I mentioned it in the first quarter, just chaining through handball, but that went away in that second quarter significantly as well.
Trying to take the game on a little bit more. Anthony from Adelaide says, luckily the Crows-Roos game was early. A huge amount of lightning and heavy rain in Adelaide tonight, so take care if that is you. And Jan from Euro says, hi Lauren, can you tell me the result of the Gold Coast Port Adelaide game? Well, the Suns have made 10 straight wins in Darwin. So you're getting asked for specific score requests, but in the end, the Gold Coast Suns, that was Friday night, not necessarily today. And Robin Greensborough says, who does Carlton have in the seconds in defence who can come in? Because the Haynes experiment should end with Voss right now. And Wiedering has been right since the State of Origin. So some big calls there from Rob in Greensborough. I actually did the VFL today, so I can tell you that Wade Dirksen played well in defence. He's a former Giants player now, of course, with the Blues. He had 15 marks in the match and 11 intercept possessions for the Blues. Louis Young is probably the other one who played in the VFL today, who has had opportunities at AFL level, but is not preferred over the other options. The Bulldogs leading by 10 points at halftime over the Blues. We'll pause at Docklands and bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. A man has died after a shark bit him on the legs off Rottnest Island, west of Perth. David Webber reports.
The man was spearfishing 1 kilometre off the western end of the island when he was bitten on the lower legs. He'd gone there with friends from Perth's northern suburbs. He was 20 metres from his boat when it happened. Rottnest Island Police Sergeant Michael Weir described the scene as horrific.
The friends of the victim retrieved his body from the water. They gave CPR on the way back in and came straight into the Geordie Bay jetty.
Despite the efforts of emergency services, the 38-year-old man couldn't be saved. Police will be preparing a report for the coroner.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says no decision has been made on whether to extend the halving of the fuel excise. Political reporter Lexi Junowick has more from Parliament House.
These measures are all due to wrap up on July the 1st. The Prime Minister said that an assessment will be made but didn't put a yes or a no on that. But we do know that from what the Prime Minister had to say this morning that demand for fuel has reduced since, of course, we saw it soar prior to the Easter break. He says due to Australia's listening to the government's call for them to only use what is required. And he also mentioned that next week National Cabinet will convene, as we've been seeing since the conflict in the Middle East began, to meet on fuel security matters.
A spokesperson for Taiwan's president says the leader is thankful for US President Donald Trump's long-standing support for peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. It comes after Trump said he hasn't decided whether to go ahead with a major weapons sale to Taiwan, adding to uncertainty about American support for the democratically governed island following his trip to China this week. According to the spokesperson, President Lai Ching-te says US arms sales are not only part of the US security commitment to Taiwan, but also serve as a shared deterrent against regional threats. Hundreds of people have gathered outside the State Library of Victoria in Melbourne CBD to honour the life of teenager Isla Bell, who died in 2024. Natasha Shapova has the story.
A sea of orange has congregated to listen to the mother of Isla Bell, Justine Spokes, share her grief and anger at the injustice she feels has been dealt towards her daughter. Isla Bell's remains were discovered at a tip in November 2024, 6 weeks after she was last seen alive at the house of 55-year-old St Kilda Eastman Murat Ganyev. Mr Ganyev was initially charged with murder. The charge was then downgraded to manslaughter before homicide charges were dropped altogether on Tuesday. Mr Ganyev will now face charges of attempting to pervert the court of justice. Today, Ms Spokes' main message is She Matters, calling for a stop to gendered violence.
A global monitor says nearly 20 million people, or more than 40% of the population of Sudan, face acute hunger as a result of the country's 3-year-old civil war. The conflict is estimated to have killed hundreds of thousands of people, as well as devastating the economy and agriculture, along with displacing 14 million people. The war broke out in April 2023 when fighting erupted between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The Bureau of Meteorology has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for central parts of South Australia. Large hailstones, heavy rain that could cause flash flooding and damaging winds are likely in the northwest pastoral and northeast pastoral districts over the next several hours. Severe thunderstorms are also likely to produce heavy rainfall, which would lead to flash flooding in parts of the eastern Eyre Peninsula, York Peninsula, the mid-north and Flinders Ranges. 2 pro surfers, Australian Anthony Walsh and Puerto Rican Dylan Graves, have become the first people to surf a rare tidal wave in Western Australia's remote north. Anthony Walsh says it took years of planning to surf the Buccaneer Archipelago tidal wave, which is near Broome. He says the wipeouts were violent, but worth it.
Even with flotation, just had to sit there and just kind of relax, not use all my energy. Like a 40-second wipeout like that is probably compared to like over a 2-minute in like a regular surf. So it was pretty intense, pretty scary.
Walsh says they sought permission from traditional owners before attempting to surf the wave. And Melbourne City has won the A-League Women's Soccer Championship after downing Wellington Phoenix 3-1 in the grand final in Melbourne this afternoon. This is ABC News.
Guy Montgomery is back with a new assistant.
Sam Campbell. I'll take the job. What is the job?
The new season of Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Wednesday nights on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Although the intercepting mark taken from Harry Mackay from the Caulfield kick. Inside 50. Cripps, was he taken higher? A push? It's a push. And the Carlton captain's going to get a free kick. Patrick Cripps kicks it around his body and puts through a goal for the Blues. The first of the second quarter, which comes 13 minutes in to centre-half forward, where Bramble takes it at the edge of the centre square. Davidson leads into the pocket, now straightens up. West comes leading out, juggles the mark, does he? Don't think anyone touched it. Riley West claims it, the small forward. 5 goals, 8 this season for Riley West, looking to make the most of it, and he does. The Bulldogs with their first goal of the second quarter. It comes at the 21-minute mark.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Thanks for spending some of your Saturday night with us. It's the Western Bulldogs who lead by 10 points at halftime here at Docklands in round 10 of the AFL, a 2-week Sir Doug Nicholls celebration of the contribution of our First Nation players and, of course, legends of the game. Matt Glitch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Bobby Benny down on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey are experts on ABC Sport. It was the Bulldogs who led by 8 points at quarter time, 4 goals to 2. And then the Bulldogs with 1 goal 3 to Carlton's 1-1. It's a 10-point lead the way of the Doggies at half-time, looking for their 6th win of the season. While for the Blues, it's their first game under Josh Fraser. Other results today. Melbourne, they're undefeated at the MCG in 2026. Another win at the home of the AFL Grand Final. A 39-point win over Hawthorn. Harrison Petty booted 3 goals. And the Demons win 18-12, 120 to Hawthorn 12-9-81. The Demons kicked 13 of the last 20 goals of the match. They're now 7 wins and 3 losses as they make their way up the ladder under Stephen King and what has been a very promising start to the premiership season. And you now think they're certainly a calculation to finish in the top 10. They might finish a little higher than that. They're up to 5th on the ladder at the moment, and the Hawks suffer back-to-back losses as they slide down to 6th spot on the ladder. 6 wins, 3 losses and a draw. Well, over in South Australia, it was Goanna, the Adelaide Crows, big winners by 68 points over Boomers Kangaroos. They kicked 10 unanswered goals in the second quarter to lead by 66 points at half-time, and the match was over from that point onwards. 20-13, 133 to North Melbourne, 9-11-65. Josh Rochelle with 3 goals, and Isaac Rankin got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. Well, just confirming that news that came through earlier from Collingwood, unfortunately for their ruck, Oscar Steen, it's an ACL injury for the 22-year-old. So his season is unfortunately done. So disappointing news after the Magpies are able to challenge Sydney back on Friday night, but the challenge now will be as to whether they have the possibility to look at the mid-season draft and maybe pick up some tall timber to support Darcy Cameron. No shortage of sporting action taking place as well. It's Magic Round, so if you're a fan of that in the NRL, there is coverage, of course, available on the ABC Listen app, where our team is doing a superb job with Andrew Moore and Quentin Hull leading the Magic Round festivities. The Melbourne Storm in action tonight. They're currently leading 10 points to 4 against the Parramatta Eels, so snapped that losing streak last week. Earlier today, it was the North Queensland Cowboys who defeated the Sydney Roosters 18 points to 12, while the Manly Seagulls defeated the West Tigers in the earlier match 46 points to 18. So coverage, of course, available on the ABC Listen. Just need to click on your designated button. So if the AFL game in which you're looking for is not on your radio, just download ABC Listen. Doesn't cost anything. And you can click on the AFL or the NRL buttons if you want to keep across all the action. The other thing we, of course, should keep you across is the PGA is taking place at the moment. Minwoo Lee is in contention of the Australians, so certainly one to get up in the early hours of the morning to follow. The leaders are at 4 under. Smalley, the American, leads with McNeely, with Minwoo Lee just one shot further back at 3 under. So don't forget, abc.net.au/sport. We'll keep you across all the action online and our ABC socials teams if you want to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, X as it's now known, or Facebook. The Western Bulldogs have made their way back out onto Docklands. The disappointing news is that Bailey Williams' night is done. A hamstring injury for him in the second quarter. And the Doggies holding a 10-point lead. Nathan Burke and Brent Harvey as the Blues have shown signs of trying to be more attacking. But the question is, can they convert it in front of goal with 3 goals 6 so far to half-time?
Well, they're having shots. That's the main thing. And the shots that they're having aren't in from difficult spots. Sort of 30 metres out, 45-degree angles. They've got to put them through. They need to put scoreboard pressure on the Western Bulldogs. Remember, this is a team that lost 4 in a row and scraped through by, 2 points last week. They're not in great form. And the thing that the Western Bulldogs won't want to do now that they're 5-5 is get behind that ledger, and they've got some tough games coming up. They've got Melbourne next week. So the best thing that they can do is put some scoreboard pressure on the Western Bulldogs who, they've got a lot of young players out there. Are they going to panic? Are they going to play safe? Are they not going to want to be the ones who make a mistake and potentially cost them the game? So this hanging in there for this quarter is going to be super, super important because the Western Bulldogs, they're going to get tighter and tighter and tighter because they've got more to lose than what Carlton do in this last quarter.
It's going to be fascinating because in the first half of the season, we're still in the first half, but probably the first 6 games, Carlton had those big leads and really struggled in the second half. So hopefully we don't see Carlton changing their style where they go a little bit more stagnant. I'd love I really like the first 15 minutes of the first quarter where they linked up by hand. So I'm hoping I see a lot more of that this quarter and try to take it to the Western Bulldogs. Don't just sit there and die wondering.
So Patrick Cripps has 13 disposals for the Blues and a goal, while Marcus Bontempelli leads the way with 14 disposals for the Western Bulldogs and a goal as well. Dave from Albury on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Enjoying the call. Marcus in South Melbourne on goal kicking boomer. What happened to the good old-fashioned flat punt from 20 to 30 metres out? It worked for Hudson and Nichols, and it just goes straight. Yes, that's the Patrick Cripps across the body from 30 metres out.
Yeah, the flat punt is not the drop punt I'm tipping. He's when he's talking about Peter Hudson, and that was a long time ago. I think the drop punt is the kick of choice when you're 25 metres out directly in front. I do understand why the boys snap it, but and this is only my opinion, and this is where I think Patrick Cripps can make or be a greater value in the second half in games by going forward. He's such a tall guy, and as we look up and the teams go out,
you're in good form tonight, Boomer. He's starting in the forward 50.
He's 30 metres out directly in front, and this is a good matchup. Nick Caulfield, I don't think he'll be strong enough to go with Patrick Cripps, so hopefully he can take a few marks, go back and slot a couple, and we can see a little bit more of that in the second half of games.
So Ben Ainsworth starting in the centre square. The Bulldogs by 10 points. Here's Lauren Borton on ABC Sport.
Umpire throws the ball up. Pitnet gets a little tap down across to Walsh. Walsh hand passes it to Hewitt. He's taken to the turf. We'll have another ball up in the centre of Docklands.
I'd love to see Carlton isolating too, which looks like it's happening now.
So Lobb gets a little tap out this time. It's the advantage of Wilson, though, for the Blues. Hand passes it across and moves it to Haynes, who chips it out wide to a mark that'll be taken. Centre wing out of side of the ground. Ice on.
He's been good, Perky, in his debut.
Yeah, he's got a long left foot too. Very, very attractive kicking style.
Exactly what he uses to kick it 50 metres down the wing towards half forward. It's taken, though, by McNeil of the Bulldogs. Hand passes it across to Haynes. Hand pass towards Sanders. Little clever kick, tap down to McNeil. Moves it across to Butterick. He's chipped down the wing, though. There's a direct turnover as Wilson holds on to it for the Blues and can intercept it. It's Carlton trailing by 10 points early stages of this third term.
He has players loose across half-back, but Wilson decides to send it long in the direction of Harry Mackay. It's a 2-on-1, and it fails to get in the end to Mackay and bounces in front of Bailey Dale. The umpire just trying to work out here whether it's a throw-in or a lasso free kick.
I just don't understand that kick. It's down the line to a 3-on-1. Now, Carlton have got very lucky here because it's bounced off the Western Bulldogs' foot.
It has, yeah, off Bailey Dale. So Harry Mackay knew. He takes the free kick, turns and comes inboard to Nick Newman, and now to Ben Ainsworth. It started alongside Ed Richards at this centre bounce for the third quarter, so we'll keep an eye on whether that's a defensive job. Ainsworth sends it long and high. Pitnet wrestling with Lobb. It spills to the front. Here's Jagger Smith. He sends to the pocket. Cripps underneath it. Can't take the mark. Karma's got back there. Selwood comes charging in to help. Hand pass away to Buslinger. Kicks into the back pocket where Richards takes the mark. Haynes couldn't get there to get a fist in, and Ed Richards has it in the back pocket for the Doggies.
Oh, missed a huge opportunity. Patrick Cripps dropping that chest mark then. That was 4 metres out from goal.
Hasn't had a whole lot of the footy tonight so far. Richards, as he thumps it on his boot, makes its way to Artie Jones. Hand passes it to Haynes, who's tackled to the ground by Dean. Umpire says play on. It's picked up by Hewitt, though, who'll curl the footy inside forward 50 for the Blues. Bounces. Paslick is in there to tie it up with Caulfield. Cripps as well. And in the end, it's Cripps that'll hand it back to the umpire for a ball up 30 metres out from Carlton's goal. Tossed up, Pitnet just runs in to grab it himself. Hand passes it away. Will be another stoppage inside forward 50 for the Blues. This time Butterick's on the bottom of the pack, tackled by Hewitt to the ground. A ball up inside forward 50 for the Blues, trailing by 10 points.
Set up well behind the ball as well with a spare.
Thrown up Lobb and Pitnet tangle. How's the umpire seen this? A hold going the way of Rory Lobb. So he'll get the free kick against Pitnet.
Isn't it funny when it's a ruck contest free kick? Everyone just holds their breath and one crowd boos because no one knows where it's going to go, though.
I don't think the rucks know either.
Yep.
Lobb sends it over the head of Davidson up towards Lewis and Norton. Neither can take the mark. Artie Jones front and centre. Hand pass chopped off by Haynes. Hines lays the tackle. And the ball eventually does come clear. Hand pass out to West. He's got nowhere to go as Cowan lays the tackle with Jacob Wiedering's support. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Bailey Williams has just emerged. He's looking pretty forlorn. He's in a Western Bulldogs polo, so he knows his fate. I think that's a pretty bad hammy by the looks of things.
Out in the second quarter, so the Bulldogs playing the rest of the game without one on the bench. The Dogs leading by 10 points. We'll have a secondary stoppage on the wing.
So Pitnet gets front position on Lobb, just gets a little tap down. Richards' kick in the end ricochets back to him. He goes back to try and get the footy. He does a tackling on Hewitt in the end. There's plenty of players surrounding the ball, and it is picked out and carried away in the end by Ainsworth, who can hand pass it out to left half forward. Haywood was chasing after it. And it is a lasso free kick coming the way of the Western Bulldogs. So this time Bailey Dale's the recipient of the free kick and chip it out to Fraser, who wants to move it on quickly. Hand passes it to Bontempelli. Centre half back. The chip comes right into the centre of Docklands across to Butterick. He puts it in the path of Selwood, who has to run after it. Ison was there close to him, pushes him off the ball. It'll be a holding free kick against Ison. And the free kick goes to the Western Bulldogs, and the kick inside forward 50 is a direct turnover from Selwood as it's picked off by Newman, who sits back, easily takes it for the Blues. And he'll have the footy in defensive 50. Western Bulldogs ahead by 10.
Called to play on, so got a hand pass around Norton to Wiedering, to Cowan in the back pocket, all by hand. Now the kick up towards half-back where Kemp marks for the Blues. The Bulldogs by 10 points. Spots an offer against the boundary line. It's Carroll who takes the mark. He's still at right half-back. On the outer city side of Docklands. High kick in the direction of Patrick Cripps, wrestling with Karmas. Cripps shoved him out of it in the end. Gave away the free kick.
Jacob Wiedering has had 10 disposals for a total of 28 metres gained.
Yeah.
Goes back a lot, Jacob Wiedering, doesn't he?
Certainly does. Win for Buku Karmas up against the Carlton captain. Back inside the defensive 50. Bustling his kick hang in the air a fair while, and in the end Butterick had to earn the free kick as he was running back with the flight against Jagger Smith, and then works it further up the field. And Bailey Dale is off and running.
Hand passes it across to Davidson. Hand passes it back to Dale, who'll put this kick inside the right forward pocket, looking for Norton. Had front position, but at the back was Cowan, who intercepts and takes the mark for the Blues. It was a 2-on-1, and the Blues won out.
Sorry, that was hilarious. Haynes is chasing Bailey Dale. He gives a handball, and Haynes runs off the field, and Bailey Dale gets the 1-2.
He knows his limits. He's not going to catch him.
Desperate for the bench, but it's the Blues that win the footy here now through the centre of the grounds. It's Hollins who moves it towards half forward. It's picked up by Buslinger. Hand pass to Richards, hand pass to Butterick, hand pass to Fraser. Gets taken by Hollins, locked up, brought to the turf, and it'll be a ball up in the centre of the ground. Poppy Penny's on the boundary.
Yeah, Nick Haynes came charging off and he's got a blood nose. He's in conversation with the doctor now. He could be looking at an HIA. The doctor's looking at his jaw and at his nose.
Pitner wins down the tap. Free kick for a hold going Carlton's way, and Ainsworth's going to take it. Doing the job on Ed Richards, who's had just the 10 disposals. The kick up to Ison. The debutant marks it right half forward. Has a player running shotgun, and Carroll gets the hand pass away. We know he's a good kick. He veers out from 50 and puts through his second.
That's an identical spot, I reckon, there.
Certainly was. Exactly. He knew it was within his range, and the Blues army rises as they have the first goal of the third quarter. Their first since the 13-minute mark of the second quarter. It comes 7 minutes into the third, and the Bulldogs lead cut back to 4 points. The Doggies 5-4-34 to Carlton 4-6-30. Boomer Harvey and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
Just quickly, Boomer, I want to talk about the last two inside 50s for the Western Bulldogs. Both times they just had Aaron Norton blinkers on, went to him twice. Both times it got intercepted, so it didn't even get to Aaron Norton, and then it goes down the other end. They've got to come up with another avenue to goal. They've got their big ruckman playing down there out of the square now, just to have a little bit of heightened presence down there, because at the moment it's a complete mess.
You go back 12 months, Perky, you got Norton, Darcy and Jamara down there. You got the one of them there right now, and they're going to him too much.
I'm saying, Marcus Bont, you're not coming off, mate. We need to win this. When you're not in the middle, you're coming out of the forward line.
Lobb wins a free kick out of the middle and chips it across to Bramble, centre wing. Darts this kick inside forward 50. Norton juggles the mark. On the lead against Wiedering, he's able to hold on to it, and he'll have a shot at goal from about 50 metres out. He'll kick from Aaron Norton.
Again, it was Norton or nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the captain, Marcus Bontempelli, is absolutely fuming at the kicker. Bramble, I think it was, wasn't it? He was out in 25 metres of space all on his own, and he went to Norton with someone up his backside.
Here comes Aaron Norton for his second tonight. In this third term, he's offline. It'll be punched. It'll stay in play. It'll know it has gone through. So punched back into play, but it did just cross the line for a minor score. It means Western Bulldogs' advantage is back out to 5 points. 5-5-35, playing Carlton 4-6-30. 8 minutes played in the third term.
I don't think either team are playing unbelievable football, but I think there's a big upside for Carlton. I don't think they're playing great football with their ball movement at all, and they're 5 points down.
1 goal, 2 for Aaron Norton tonight. Boomer Harvey with you on ABC Sport as Dean has it. Newman and Florent combining to get it outside the defensive 50. Up the wing, Carroll.
He's been good.
2 goals so far in the match as he marks centre wing. Spots a free player in Chera. He marks and wants 50. Trying to do the umpiring as well, saying that Riley Sanders hadn't stood. He takes the advantage now and sends it inside 50. Kemp the target. Can't take the mark as Karmas knocks it down. Walks through traffic. Hand pass away to McGovern from the right forward pocket. Desperate defending. Ed Richards gets back there and gets a fist onto it just before it crossed the goal line. It's a 4-point lead the Western Bulldogs way. 9 minutes gone, third term.
Run by Bramble, who just chips it to Richards. It's probably not 15. It might have been paid. Evans wanted to tackle Richards, but in the end he goes for a run right up the corridor and kicks it down to the outer side of the ground where McNeil was. He couldn't take the mark. Does well to just push it towards Artie Jones, who slaps it back to him. Moves it across to Lewis with a flat kick inside forward 50. This will work for Louis Emmett, who finds himself in some space and cons the mark.
Well, that was good forward play because Aaron Norton was going back to the goal square and Louis Emmett came at the kicker. So they had 2 options, and quite rightly the Carlton players were thinking they're going to kick it to Norton again and left Louis all by himself. He needs to put this one through though. If they're going to play the big fella forward, well then you get an opportunity and kick the goals.
His coach said he's definitely not ready to be in a full-time ruck position, but he's a competitor. So here he goes, having a kick at the goal. Look, Louis Emmett is offline. He stays without a major in his AFL career so far that spanned 5 games. He's side ahead by 5 points. Poppy Penny's on the boundary.
Nick Haynes is back on the field, so no HIA for him, but he does have the cotton wool up the nostril to try and stop the blood coming out of his nose.
Thanks, Poppy. Dean for the Blues out of defence. Up to Jack Ison on debut. He's the nephew of Senator Briggs, Australian rapper. He has it at right half back, who's a mad Bombers fan, but did say when his nephew made his debut he'd wear Carlton colours tonight. That's not a great kick. That's a shocking turnover by Florent. And the intercepting mark taken by Bontempelli in the worst hands. He plays on, cuts around Cripps, sends it into the pocket. Emmett's the target over his head. And redeeming himself is Florent. He takes the juggling mark. Right back pocket for the Blues, who trail by 5 points. Just chips a kick over the top, and Cowan has it. He's a right half back for Carlton. The Bulldogs 5-6-36 for the Blues, 4-7-31. Around the wing, Pitnet the target. Bailey Dale was able to spoil it down. Carroll for the Blues. Hand pass to Cripps. He takes an awkward bounce. Arches the back. Gets around the lunging tackle from Dale, but the hand pass inboard to Walsh was interesting. Fraser tackles him. Turns it over. McNeil for the Blues. Hand pass away to Kennedy. Now to Bontempelli. To Sanders. The Bulldogs hand passing game on so. As now Dale runs the outer wing. 2 bounces. Kicks up to half forward. With the mark is taken by Lewis.
Well done by the Blues. The only kick he had was Lewis on the 50-metre line.
Will Lewis called to play on. He veers out to the left, sends it long to the goal square. Riley West is outnumbered, and Haynes in the end spoils it through for a rush behind for the Bulldogs.
It was a bizarre option by Patrick Cripps, wasn't it? Cutting back inside and giving a loopy handball over the top to Sam Walsh. He had one-on-ones going forward. He needs to trust his forwards and give him just give him an opportunity. That's all you need as a forward.
Some of the handballing tonight to players under pressure has been amateurish at best.
Zach Williams does well to hit up Francis Evans on the chest at centre wing. He plays on quickly to get the ball inside forward 50. Was looking for Kemp, who couldn't hold on to the mark. Had Karmas trailing him, but can gather, collect, hand pass to Jagger Smith from 52 metres out. Will kick towards goal. It'll bounce once. It's on the line. It's tapped through. It went straight up rather than bouncing at right angles to go through the goal. And so it's tapped through for a minor score. The Western Bulldogs lead just cut back to 5 points. Carlton 4-8-32. Western Bulldogs 5-7-37. It's not exactly raining goals.
It was a great kick, but it just went a little bit too high, Berkey. He had to kick that low and hard. That ball would have dribbled on for sure, but because he got so much height, it just bounced straight back up on the goal line.
Last 5 scores in the game have all been behinds, as neither side can really capitalise. It's an intriguing contest. Sanders up towards half-back for the Bulldogs, where McNeil lays the tackle. And the last player to rise is Frankie Evans. So the Bulldogs by 5 points. They've really taken control since late in the opening quarter. And the Blues can't capitalise in front of goal. Cripps tries to get a hand pass to Chera. Hand pass to Jagger Smith. They lose possession. There's a loose hand pass that's chopped up by Bontempelli. Taps it around the boundary line. Chera gets involved, knocks it out to Cowan. Hand pass to Smith. Hand pass away to Florent. Searching hand pass into the middle of the ground. Haynes back into the congestion. Fires a hand pass forward to the Blues. That'll work. Walsh has it at right half forward. Looks up inside 50. McGovern at the back. Cutmar. Dale brings it down in front. Evans tackled. Spun a full 360. Selwood went over the top. No whistle. It spills out to Zach Williams. He dribbles the kick looking for Ison. Was he taken high, the debutant? Throws his head back. Play on's the call. Desperate defending from Selwood as he lays the tackle for the Dogs.
The Blues fans are going crazy behind the goals. There's about 4,000 people behind the goals standing up, pointing a finger.
So you can still hear them as the ball is tossed up. A replay played on the screen. Cripps grabs it out. Hand passes it away towards Williams, who might have been knocked off it. He gets it out towards Ison, or Carroll rather, who's carried over the boundary line.
I don't mind that umpiring. Just let it play. Make the free kicks obvious.
The Carlton boys are all standing up on the bench. The ball's been on the other side of the ground for about 4 or 5 minutes and they can't get back on.
Throwing inside forward 50. Mackay takes it for the Blues. Will rove it, snap it himself. And it's offline for another behind. That's 6 in a row for both sides, but it does mean Carlton's only trailing by 4 points, rather. 4-9-33, 5-7-37, the Ducks.
Boomy, you got to kick them. You're 12 metres out.
It's a left footer kick on his right foot, Berkey.
I sort of feel like the crowd should be booing the forwards as much as the umpires. Either side. The Blues 4-9, the Bulldogs 5-7. It's all of a sudden become a low-scoring Dower arm wrestle. As Butterick cuts around Ison from half-back. Up towards Baker, used his body well against Wilson. Tries to knock it inside 50. Chera taken high. We'll get the free kick in the back pocket. The Blues number 5. The Carlton fans finally have a chance to cheer. The Bronx cheer for the umpires, really. As the Bulldogs leading by 4 points.
He's only had the 10 disposals tonight, Chera. He needs to find a little bit more of the ball.
Question came through from Burt Street Barney. Asking the question, Boomer, do you think Adam Chera does enough to get his hands dirty
No, well, I think if they want to play Patrick Cripps a little bit more forward, and we did commentate that at the start of the third quarter, he needs to get a little bit deeper in the pack and just win some ball.
Lasso free kick from the Cherokee kick. Kennedy takes it.
It's a Shepherd on.
Free kick for the non-officiating umpire for a Shepherd, and it's going the way of Aaron Norton.
I have to see the replay on this one.
Little tug of the jumper from Billy Wilson, who wasn't his direct opponent. And the umpire spotted that. Norton threw his arms back, made sure the umpire didn't miss it. Aaron Norton, 1 goal, 2 tonight. The Bulldogs spearhead, slightly right of centre, 35 metres out from goal. To extend the Dogs' lead, Norton comes in and sends it through. It's a 10-point lead the Dogs' way once more. A goal apiece so far in this third quarter. That's just 4 goals since quarter time. The Bulldogs 6-7-43 to Carlton 4-9-33. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
They're doing so much right, the Blues, and then that happens. Transitions down the length of the ground. It's a lasso free kick, and I actually didn't see the free kick.
Wasn't a lot in it. Billy Wilson just had his back to the ball coming in as Aaron Norton was running past. He stuck out his left arm. Didn't grab him, just got in the way slightly. But as soon as you got your back to the ball, the umpires are going to play a free kick.
So no side has been able to put 2 goals on in a row tonight. As Western Bulldogs lead by 10 points. Following a string of behinds, they're finally able to break through with their first goal of this third term. As from the middle, though, it's Ainsworth with the clearance, can pump it inside forward 50 for the Blues. McGovern overruns it. Karmas just hand passes over the top of his head towards Sanders. Hand passes to Bramble. Hand passes out wide to Caulfield, who falls over at half-back for the Western Bulldogs, but can hand pass back to Bramble, who puts it on his boot and will get it to centre wing. Wiedering comes forward with the punch. And it goes out of bounds as Carroll claps Wiedering's efforts, and will be a throw-in at centre wing outer side of the ground.
Cripps going deep forward on Karmas again, so playing the full forward role. I would love to see Hayward play with a little bit more flair and dare, maybe push everybody up the ground and get him last, because he's so quick.
So Sanders falls on his hands and knees, takes the footy, hand passes it to Lobb. He gets wrapped up, and it's a ball up on the outer side of the ground. The Doggies ahead by 10 points. 18 minutes played in the third term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Lob one down the tap against Mackay, but the non-officiating umpire has spotted a free kick. A hold going Harry Mackay's way. In fact, it's going the way of Ben Ainsworth. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, your experts for Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Ainsworth dinks a kick over the top. Billy Wilson marks. He looks into the pocket. Out comes the lead of Kemp. It clears him and also Hayward. And off hands goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the Blues.
Okay, that kick there, right, so Ainsworth has it, let's call it 70 metres out from goal, holds on to it for 5 or 6 seconds and then kicks it sideways. All it does is allow the Western Bulldogs wingers and ruckman to get back and clog up space.
Harry Mackay got it down to Cripps, who wills it through the major opening. The Carlton captain, sensing the moment and trying to rise to it, he puts through his second. Boomer Harvey asked to isolate him deep in attack. It was more of a stoppage work, which is his go. And Cripps tries to inspire his teammates. Carlton cut it to a 4-point lead the Bulldogs' way. 6-7-43 to Carlton 5-9-39. The Blues are 2 goals to 1 so far in this third quarter.
And that's the benefit of him playing forward, not necessarily taking big marks, but Cripps is one of the best stoppage players in the league. And he's getting picked up by Joel Frazier on this one, who's not the best stoppage player in the league. He's also playing as a defender. That was just better stoppage craft from Cripps. He was on the move, he didn't fumble, and he got himself a goal. So well done by the Blues.
Kennedy with a clearance straight away here for the Western Bulldogs. Baker picks it up and hand passes it back to Richards. His hand pass will be a turnover as Florent was able to smother it and just paddle it in front of him. In the end, he paddles it well and can put it ahead of Chera, who'll go inside 50 here again for the Blues. Karmas might have been holding on to Kemp. Umpire said no. He dives on top of Kemp, holds in there, and it'll be a ball up inside forward 50 for the Blues.
Well done, Ollie Florent then too. Just won the 50-50 ball and tapped it in front and then shepherded, which we don't see a lot of.
So Sanders picks it out, though, for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass across to Lobb, hand pass to Karmas, and he'll clear it right down the wing for the Western Bulldogs. Goes over the top of the pack, and it spills for Florent, who can pick it up and share it with a hand pass to Williams. Back to him, then goes back to Williams. Hand passes it to Jagger Smith in the centre of Docklands. He spears a pass across to Hayward, standing at centre half forward. He'll try and go all the way for Carlton. He gets the distance, but it's offline behind. The Western Bulldogs lead cut back to 3 points now, 21 minutes played in the third term. Poppy Penny's on the boundary.
Cripps came off after that goal, as is the way, and he got a hero's welcome from the crowd, and there's a lot more energy on the Carlton bench than we've seen in some time.
Dale brings the ball back in. Thanks, Poppy. To Sanders, who goes back to Bailey. Dale kicks up the wing to Selwood. Now Artie Jones is all on his own at right half forward. He takes the mark, kicks inside 50. Lewis the target. He spoils it down to the front. Norton's the crummer. Great centering ball. And Hines takes the mark. On a 45-degree angle, he's only about 20 metres out.
Unfortunately for Carlton, it was a really poor pressing decision from Wilson. Artie Jones snuck out the back, and he went, but he didn't impact. And that's the important part there. If you can impact, absolutely go. He couldn't impact. He went, and Artie Jones had, he would have had 30 or 40 metres in space.
The Blues have done all the attacking. This is a big kick for Cooper Hines. He comes in and does the job. The Bulldogs answer back ahead of three-quarter time, and the margin is restored to 9 points. 2 goals apiece in this third quarter. The Dogs 7-7-49 to the Blues 5-10-40. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
That was one of the few occasions where the Bulldogs have been able to get that overlap and the player out the back. They still couldn't get a clean mark inside 50. It was Norton who had to do the crumbing. But Carlton's defence through the middle of the ground has been outstanding. But my point at half-time was, if they cannot keep that up, the Bulldogs of all teams, they will hurt you. And so to me, if the Blues, who were talking about their inside 50s and everything else, they just cannot let the Bulldogs quickly move that ball through that middle third of the ground.
Margin hasn't got beyond 11 points throughout this match. As from the middle, it's taken by Hewitt, who clears it across to half forward for Carlton. Evans was shoved off it. Umpire said it was legally, and Selwood wins the footy. Hand passes it to Buslinger, who pops it down the wing. Richards gets 2 hands up, tries to take the mark. It spills out of his hands. Wilson can collect it for the Blues and hand pass it away as it's moved forward by Ben Ainsworth. There'll be a drop mark inside forward 50 coming from Kemp. Evans can gather, collect, and hand pass it across to Ainsworth, who'll snap towards goal. It was a couple of metres short, and it's punched over the line.
Why isn't McGovern jumping at the ball? He had the perfect opportunity then to run and jump on his Western Bulldogs' shoulders and take a hanger, or just compete. He actually stopped. It was a little bit weird.
He's done that a couple of times, trying to shepherd through the ball, Mitch McGovern. It's an 8-point lead the Bulldogs' way. Bramble spots a kick towards half-back. Butterick couldn't take the mark. Hayward slides in. The Chera feeds it. Brilliant work. Hand pass to Hines. Has to break away. Tackled and brought down by Newman. Gets a hand pass back to Sanders. Cuts boundary side. Not a lot of options. Hand pass goes out of play. Lasso free kick the way of the Blues.
So Sanders just couldn't quite keep it in play. Means Nick Newman will get the free kick right in front of the Western Bulldogs benches.
And that's that good defending by the Blues. Held up that fast play.
Newman will kick it to the pack forward.
Bulldogs really easy marks in a spot where they should feel under pressure.
So Lobb chips it 20 metres ahead of him to Richards, who puts the pass right down the wing. And Kennedy's there to mark. He'll pop up the pass. Plenty of height on it. Norton was at the drop there, but it gets tapped away from him by Wiedering. Norton there at the drop can pick it up. Hand passes it away to West, who can gather it one-handed. Dodges left, falls over close to the boundary line. Ball spills out, tries to paddle it away. Chera gets a little hand onto it, and it works for Wilson, who can move it across to Hewitt, and he can clear it away across to Evans, who marks it right half back for the Blues. His side trailing by 8 points in the third term.
Evans marks that. He looks up, and there was 3 Western Bulldogs players standing there, so the visual was really hard. Could not kick it, had to slow it down.
Hayward the target in a 2-on-1, and Connor Butterick with the support of Bramble sees it out of play for a throw-in. So the Bulldogs 7-7-49 to the Blues 5-11-41.
Smirky, I feel that they've had a really poor 4 or 5 minutes, the Blues, and they're 8 points behind.
Free kick in the ruck, spotted by the non-officiate umpire going against Pitnet. And Rory Lobb will get the free kick for the Bulldogs.
No, it's going back to Kennedy.
It is 2. So you sort of feel like if the Dogs can pitch one late here, that would be against very much the trend. The Blues had good territory inside 50. Kennedy's long kick. Norton sets himself. Pitnet got back off hands. Wilson's kick is smothered. West tries to bounce off an opponent. Hand pass chopped off by Harry Dean. Gets the hand pass away to Walsh. Fires a hand pass away. Zach Williams heard Artie Jones coming. Hand pass out to Ollie Hollins at halfback.
Little dinky kick forward, finds Jagger Smith. He marks at left half back, but wants to slow things down. Holding onto it, he has Newman running by his left. He shares it with him. Newman goes back to Smith. This time he puts it on his boot and goes long down the wing. And again, right at the back, it's Rory Lobb.
Straight to their spare. This is what they can't do. They've got to bypass and they've got to find 15 metres in front of him and go directly over his head. Too many impact. They're impacting way too much with their spare.
Harry Mackay can't fall over.
There's a string of hand passes now after Lobb's kick that eventually finds its way to Bontempelli. His kick, a turnover. Straight into the hands of Wilson at centre half back for the Blues.
Well, even when the Bond's kicking it to the other team, what hope have we got?
So late stages of this third term, a little chip out wide goes to Florin. It's a free kick as well as a mark in the end. He just got tapped a little. His opponent in Baker. Molly Florin holding on to the footy. It's his 9th touch of the quarter with a long kick right down the outer wing. Mackay had the mark. He will be paid it.
It's better.
We'll go back to him. Just forward to centre wing for the Blues. Loads up on the kick and kick into the forward pocket. Western Bulldogs players all around it. It was Bramble at the front. Didn't take the mark. Didn't need to. As the siren sounds to mark 3-quarter time. Just 4 goals in that quarter after there were just 2 in the second term. It was 2 goals apiece as well in the third, which gives the Western Bulldogs an 8-point lead at 3-quarter time. It was the same as their quarter time lead. They did get up by 10 points at half time. The game high was 11 points, but it is sitting at 8 points at 3-quarter time. Carlton 5-11-41. The Western Bulldogs 7-7-49 with that 8-point lead. The goal kickers so far tonight, Aaron Norton is the only multiple goal kicker for the Western Bulldogs. He's got 2. Riley West, Oscar Baker, Riley Sanders, Cooper Hines and Marcus Bontempelli all have singles, while for Carlton, their captain, Paddy Cripps, has a couple, and then Harry Mackay and Matt Carroll. Harry Mackay has 1, and Matt Carroll has 2, both from outside of 50, of course, for Carlton.
Yeah, just the 3 individual goal kickers for the Blues, while 6 for the Western Bulldogs. 3-quarter time here at Docklands, and it's the Bulldogs who hold an 8-point lead. Earlier at the MCG, it was Naarm, the Demons, who defeated Hawthorn by 39 points, an upset victory for the D's to move to 7-3, while the Crows, Goanna, were far too strong for North Melbourne winners by 68 points. They kicked 10 unanswered goals in the second quarter and opened up a 66-point lead. And unfortunately for Collingwood, ACL scans confirmed a season-ending injury for Oscar Steen, the Collingwood ruckman. So the 22-year-old suffering that injury in the match against the Sydney Swans on Friday night. Thanks for spending some of your Saturday night with us. It's the Bulldogs who lead by 8 points at 3-quarter time on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your documentary fix on ABC iView.
We have an industry that is just running riot.
Like Sean McAuliffe's Going for Broke.
Last spin, come on.
Todd Sampson's Why.
The best things in life are on the other side of fear.
And more. Streaming now on ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nichols Round with ABC Sport.
In there, wins down the tap. Free kick for a hold going Carlton's way, and Ainsworth's going to take it. It's a kick up to Ison. The debutant marks it right half forward. Has a player running shotgun, and Carroll gets the hand pass away. We know he's a good kick. He veers out from 50 and puts through his second.
Thrown inside forward 50. Mackay takes it for the Blues. Will rove it, snap it himself. And it's offline for another behind. That's 6 in a row for both sides, but it does mean Carlton's only trailing by 4 points.
Aaron Norton, 1 goal, 2 tonight. The Bulldogs spearhead, slightly right of centre, 35 metres out from goal to extend the Dogs' lead. Norton comes in and sends it through. It's a 10-point lead the Dogs' way once more. Harry Mackay got it down to Cripps, who wills it through the major opening. The Carlton captain, sensing the moment and trying to rise to it. He puts through his second. The Blues have done all the attacking. This is a big kick for Cooper Hines. He comes in and does the job. The Bulldogs answer back ahead of three-quarter time.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
A low-scoring arm wrestle for a Saturday night as Luke Beveridge below us starts to swing the magnets. And Josh Fraser, in the hooded jumper in his first game as the caretaker coach of the Blues, strides out to address his players. The Bulldogs by 8 points at three-quarter time, 7-7-49 to the Blues 5-11-41. It's week one of a fortnight of Sir Doug Nicholls round in the AFL. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden call the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Brent Harvey alongside Nathan Burke.
Well, inside 50s, 36-34 in favour of the Blues, so nothing in that. Where they've had a slight ascendancy is around the clearances, 26-18. And I think they're going to have to keep that ascendancy. The around the ground throw-ins, ball-ins have been the one that they're really dominating, also out of the centre. If they can keep that trend going, lock the ball in their front half, not allow the Western Bulldogs to transition quickly from one end to the other, they're right in this. They just need to be far more efficient going inside 50. If they can't actually pinpoint a target, at least get the ball to a point where Hayward and these guys can come in and crumb the ball and keep the ball inside their forward 50, because you know it's there for them if they want this, want it bad enough, but they need to defend really, really well. For the Western Bulldogs, they're just running on half cylinders at the moment. They look a bit gassed. They've had a huge 5 weeks. They've lost 4 games. They got over one by 2 points last week. They've been under the pump. We said it before the game. The Bulldogs, the pressure's on them. They're 5-5. They don't want to go behind the ledger playing Melbourne next week, who are in super form. So they don't want to lose this game. That's probably their main thing. We can't lose this game. Whereas if I'm Josh Fraser, I'm pumping these boys full of every bit of confidence that I can possibly give them and let them know that these guys are right for the taking if we put the enormous pressure on them and we take our chances when we get inside 50.
8 points, Berkey. They're right in this game. The thing I think Carlton have to clean up is the spare for the Western Bulldogs. There's too much impact from that spare. And you just mentioned in your piece then that the Blues have to get back and stop that transition from defensive 50. It's hard to do because they're one short. And the Western Bulldogs are not going to leave their small spare. They're manipulating it so Karmas is their spare, and he dominates in the air when he's the spare. He can come off. We know what sort of leap he's got. So for me, they've got to clean up that part of the game. And then the connection piece going inside forward 50. They can clean that up. They started dropping their eyes a little bit towards the end. There was one absolute ripper in the Carlton player. I can't remember who it was, and it doesn't matter, but dropped the chest marker. He would have had a shot from 40 out. But they're the two small pieces for me. The connection piece going inside forward 50, and don't give the Western Bulldogs a spare, and they're right in this game.
The Blues have had their issues in second half under Michael Voss. The Bulldogs haven't been much better, to be honest. They kicked 1 goal late last week against Port Adelaide's 2-5 to get over the line in the final term. As the Bulldogs lead by 8 points, we're underway in the final term. Lob wins down the tap, and it's volleyed off the ground by Ed Richards. It's chopped off by Adam Chera, who takes the mark in front of McNeil. Turns out to the broadcast wing where Walsh slipped over. Now he has a problem with Bontempelli laying the tackle, and the umpire will ball it up.
That's a poor kick by Chera. Walsh was out, and all he had to do was put the ball to him or in front of him, and he put it behind him. He should have marked it, but it was just a poor kick.
Hitnet wins down the tap. Cripps trying to get a hand pass away. Hitnet just gets a little toe poke out towards Chera. He and Richards Tangle and Richards lays the tackle. Florent with 24 disposals, Walsh with 19, Smith with 19, Cripps with 17 and 2 goals, while Bailey Dale with 22 for the Dogs, Sanders with 20 and Bontempelli with 20 as well. Florent gets a hand pass forward to Chera. At full stretch, kicks into the pocket. It's over the head of Hayward. He got a shove. Free kick against Caulfield.
I think if Carlton to win this game, Patrick Cripps has started his quarter pretty well. He needs to play midfield for the first little bit and then go forward. I don't think he comes off the ground.
So Boomer saying the Carlton captain has to try and go the journey in this final term.
And if he plays the deepest, that's okay. I think more, and I think Berkey might have even said this earlier, but I think more players should be playing on ball and push forward rather than going off twice a quarter.
13 disposals and 2 behinds for Will Hayward tonight as he stretches out his hamstrings. He's in the right forward pocket. Wouldn't this give the Blues a real lift? It's going to take his best, the former Swan, as he starts his approach. Misses everything out to the right. Can you describe that for me, Berkey? Because I'm running out tonight.
It came off like a wounded pigeon. And flew sideways.
Well, that's the goal kicking stuff, Berkey. I keep harping on tonight. He was so straight right then. Some people will disagree with me, I know, and that's okay. Got my own theory on goal kicking.
I think you might be onto something, Boomer. You're a little bit of a Nostradamus this year, actually, with a lot of your predictions. So we'll see how the Cripps one plays out as the kick comes down the line, but it's Haynes who has the footy for Carlton. Chips down to Cripps, who marks just inside the boundary line. It's opposing captain Marcus Bontempelli standing the mark. Cripps is a couple of kicks from home for the Blues. They're trailing by 8 points early stages of this final term. The kick comes right inside forward 50. Hayward can't take the mark. He's pleading for a free kick from the umpire. Ison's at the bottom of the pack. And it'll be a ball up inside forward 50 for the Blues. So tossed up, Pitnet tries to get a tap out towards Ison, who can just get a kick away. It's picked up and cleared away by Caulfield, though, of the Western Bulldogs. Hayward takes it, hand passes it to Haynes, and then he's tackled by 2 Western Bulldogs players. It's not going anywhere. It'll be held up at half forward for the Blues for a throw up. Western Bulldogs ahead by 8 points. Just 3 minutes have been played in this last term so far.
Pitnet just tries to slap it clear away from Rory Law, but Richard sharks it, sends it up the wing with a kick looking for Lewis. Kept his footing against Haynes, who tumbles over. Wiedering comes in to offer support. Hand pass away to Cowan. Kicks the Blues to half forward. Ison presents. Can't take the mark. Chera's the crummer in front. Hand pass to Cripps trying to get away from Caulfield. His kick goes straight up in the air. Not 15 to Dale. He's tackled dispossessed. He has to knock it out to Fraser. Hand pass over the top. Sanders at left half back. He gets around Ollie Hollins and kicks up towards half forward. Norton's the target once more. It clears Cowan and Wiedering. Hardy Jones at crowd level. He's quick, runs away, kicks off his left out on the full.
Idea was right. Riley West was streaming into to goal, but unfortunately no power or connection on that kick from Hardy Jones.
That pigeon dead now.
I'm that close to giving you guys the binoculars and giving you a go tonight. Nothing is coming to fruition.
And Riley West running straight back to the goal square. All he needed to do was keep the ball in play.
If Newman kicks down the line, Mackay will mark this one. And he just chips inboards towards Cripps, who marks at centre wing. Hand pass across to Walsh, who flares it to left half forward. That'll work for Carroll, who marks. He marks. He's held on to by Davidson. That should be 50.
Oh, he's got it. So this will be his third goal.
Yep. Well, let's see. He's kicked both of these from outside 50. How does he go from directly in front?
Well, it depends where the umpire's going to put him. It's about 8 metres out, surely.
Matt Carroll from directly in front. Puts this into the corporate boxes at the top of the second tier. He has got 3 goals tonight, and he's cut back the Western Bulldogs lead to just 2 points. Only 2 points in this match, 5 minutes into the fourth term. Carlton haven't won since round 1 against Richmond. They're now 6-11-47, trailing the Western Bulldogs 7-7-49. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
It's an unlikely goal kicker for 3, Perky. I don't think
his
too many
career best
punters,
was 2 against Collingwood earlier in the season, so certainly not one that Carlton fans would have come along thinking Matt Carroll's going to kick 3 goals tonight and be the player leading us back within 2 points.
His first 2 goals were outstanding, both from about 55 out behind the arc, and that one was pretty lucky in the end because he got a 50-metre penalty, but 3 goals is a great return from a winger.
Blues back within a kick. as Cripps bursts out of the middle of the ground. He sends it long inside 50. Mackay's the target. Karmas at the back. A free kick for a hold. And it's going Mackay's way.
Well, I'm not sure whether it was a mix-up in the middle, but Bontempelli started at centre-half back then, whether that's a move to try and save the game, but it allowed Patrick Cripps to do whatever he wanted in the middle of the ground.
Umpire's gesture that the Bulldogs defender, his arms around the waist. Mackay curls around the body, and just like that, the Blues are in front. 2 goals in 6 minutes, but it's really 2 goals in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Sees Carlton back in front for the first time since the 23-minute mark of the opening quarter. 7:11:53 to the Bulldogs 7:49, and the Carlton Army rise as one. Their first game under caretaker coach Josh Fraser. Can they do what Michael Voss couldn't, which is prevail in a final term? Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke with you as we get a look here. Bustlinger with just the tug of the left arm on the jumper of Harry Mackay. The umpire spotted it, but geez, they're tough ones against the defender.
As soon as you wrap the arm around the forward, there's a free kick every single time now. It used to be if you weren't looking at the ball, but as soon as you put that arm around the rib area, you're getting pinged as a backman very hard.
The guy's pushing you. It's ridiculous.
So Blues become the first side tonight to kick 2 goals in a row. Can they go for 3? Cripps moves the footy down. Evans gets knocked high. And we'll get a free kick. Centre half forward for Carlton. He'll bomb the footy in there. Players will sit at the drop. Kemp rises, can't take the mark. Carroll's chasing after it. He's got some speed, can pick it up and gather. Hand pass it to Ison on his left boot in his first game. It'll go across the face of goal, will stay in play. It gets punched away by Bustlinger. Still sitting in the centre of the attacking 50 for Carlton. Kemp has a go at it. Hand passes it to Hollands. Bontempelli charges in to take it away for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass to Bramble. Hand pass across to Dale. And he can chip it out to Baker, who marks left half back for the Western Bulldogs to steady things.
4 of the last 6 goals away the Blues as Bramble at half-back. Ducks inboard. Not a great kick either. It clears Hines and Newman, and Wiedering gathers for Carlton. Now pass back to Nick Newman. Up towards Harry Mackay. 2-on-1. Over the top comes Bustlinger and spoils it out of play. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Billy Wilson for the Blues has come off. He looks like he's cramping. He's on the pickle juice and the physios are working overtime. Harry Mackay just got a massive reception from the crowd as he comes off as well.
Well, the Bulldogs can't transition the ball. It came out of their the Blues forward line, and they had a great setup defensively.
From the throw-in, down to the front, Pitnet has to follow up his ruck work. Hand pass to Cripps, who had 2 centre clearances to start this final term. Hand pass to Hewitt. His kick is a turnover, and Bailey Dale marks at half-back for the Bulldogs. All of a sudden, they're behind by 4 points. At 5-5, the Dogs don't want to try and slip up another game to the Blues, who have lost their last 7.
Bulldogs are not moving at all. They're just saying, Oscar, all you've got is to kick it as far as you can.
Very stagnant, you're right.
Gassed.
In the direction of Lobb and Aaron Norton, either fly in the end. Wiedering spoils it down. Lewis, hand pass along the ground, and Norton on the left boot. He kicks it out of the full. Got a shot from Hewitt.
Berkey, you said this halfway through the third quarter, and at three-quarter time you actually mentioned that the Bulldogs looked gas, and mate, you were spot on. They look spent. I watched Bontempelli go for the last couple of balls, and he can hardly move.
So a long kick down the wing comes from Williams. Pitnet has front position, pushes it down towards Evans, who gets a little kick away. It's got a high bounce on it, over the top of McGovern's head, over the top of Karmas. It'll bounce inside forward 50 for the Blues. Kemp has to do the chasing on Bustlinger, does the tackling. Dale comes in to collect. Hand passes it across to Bustlinger, and he's hugged by McGovern and Kemp, and they'll hold him up right at the top of attacking 50 for the Blues.
Great pressure.
49 metres out. It'll be a ball up, but again, it's Pitnet doing the tackling on Richards, holding him up. Has the umpire blown a whistle there? He's called holding the footy.
He said he ducked, and that was your prior, so hold the ball. Stiff.
All right. The ruckman. This is a big kick, Berkey. Does he go to the top of the square, or is he...
Who knows what goes through a ruckman's mind?
Yeah, okay. That's actually a fair call.
Mark Pitnet, he'll just pop it up and hope for a mark from one of his teammates. It gets punched away and through for a behind. It hits the right behind post in the end, so it will be a throw-in. So no score. Carlton's lead 4 points. 10 minutes played in this final term. The Blues hit the front for the first time since the first quarter.
But good result for Carlton. Watch Patrick Cripps get on the move.
Bontebelli on his own as well as it's thrown in. Lob works it down to the front. Sanders in the back pocket. Hand pass to Bramble. Arches the back. Hewitt tries to reel him in. Turnover. Cripps around his body towards Hayward. Spawned away from him. Awkward ball. Kemp volleys it through. Created something out of nothing. As Bustlinger was coming the other way, he's claimed he touched it. This will get looked at. But the Blues possibly out to a 10-point lead. And shots on our monitor of the Carlton hierarchy. The president and the CEO are both applauding. We'll stand by for the arc to go to work.
Yeah, he's saying he's still talking to the goal umpire. He thinks he's touched the ball. It's fantastic effort, though, just to swing the boot at it and get it through. I'll tell you what, Clinchy, while we're looking at this, and I know they're going to look at it, I think it should get a little bit like cricket. I think you should have 3 captain's calls, and if you've wasted them because you want to lie and say you touched it and you didn't, that's it. This position right now, you might not be able to do it.
All right, here we go. Slow-mo, Boomo.
Oh, no.
I don't think he's touched it.
Nowhere near it.
So I think if you challenge that one, you'd be wasting it because Bustlinger had a hope more than anything else. The arms came out trying to make contact, made it with the body. And
so that's the whole point. If you say you touched it, you lose one. A little bit like cricket.
Well, baseball are doing that now.
All of a sudden, Carlton with the last 3 goals of the game. They lead by 10 points.
Means you can't change the momentum of the game either, as Carlton now have popped 3 in a row together.
Warning.
Little 666 warning here for the Western Bulldogs. Ball will get tossed up in the centre. Mackay pulls it out of the ruck. It's another clearance for the Blues. A tumbling high kick inside forward 50. McGovern on the end of it collects. Hand passes it across to Smith. Hand pass across to Ison.
I think that was touched.
He's going to review this.
Game number 1. The crowd goes up.
I think that was definitely touched.
I actually think it's a goal, Berkey. I'm against you here.
Bustlinger again stuck a finger up.
But the run out of the middle was a quick kick out of the middle, and Jagger Smith, he got out of that middle to that next contest lightning quick. The Western Bulldogs midfielders were still in the middle watching the ball go forward.
He's definitely touched it. Oh, you might be right, Bruce.
We can see the ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal line.
Touched before crossing the line. So he gets it, well, he touches it basically as it's on the line, but not over.
Good call, Berkey.
So Ison goes without a goal in his first game for now, but he showed some very, very good signs, the young man, in his first game.
The spread out of the middle from the Carlton midfielders, they're up and about. They can sniff a win here, whereas the Western Bulldogs, they're trying not to lose.
7-2, the clearance is the Blues way, doing it out of the middle. Bustling is 1 from 2. Caulfield from the back pocket up towards half-back. Mackay trying to juggle the mark. He'll get a free kick for a hold, if not the mark. Feeds the hand pass to Wilson. Running through right half forward. Out wide, looking for Hayward. He's over the boundary line, out of bounds on the full.
Again, that connection piece, McGovern was on his own. So if I'm coaching Carlton right now, Paddy Cripps is off, and Mackay is in the ruck. I'm keeping Cripps on the field as that big, tall target in the goal square.
Butterick plays on, cuts around Hayward, opens up a kick looking for Baker. Hewitt comes across, makes the spoil. And Carlton fans who haven't tasted victory since round 1 against the Tigers are sensing an upset here. An 11-point lead the Blues way. They've kicked the last 3 goals of the match.
When was the last inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs? They had 2 chances and kicked them both out on the full. Artie Jones, Aaron Norton out on the full, have not had an inside 50 for at least 10 minutes.
That'll be the top ball tossed in at half forward for the Blues. A free kick for a hold's been found.
This has been big tonight. There's so many free kicks off the ball at stoppages.
It's to midfielders too, not just the rucks.
So Ed Richards, the recipient of it for the Doggies, takes it and chips it down towards Artie Jones. Haynes
well done,
has a punch from over the top of Arthur Jones's head, and it'll be sent over the boundary line for a ball in right in front of our broadcast position, in front of the Western Bulldogs bench. They're now trailing by 11 points, the Doggies. It's an equal game-high lead. The Dogs got out to that lead during the second quarter, but now it's the Blues in front as Hewitt takes it, hand passes it to Walsh. There's another free kick from the throw-in to Western Bulldogs free kick.
That's not even a rule anymore. You're allowed to take it out of the ruck and get caught with it.
Well, he said he threw it.
So Louis Emmett takes it. His kick makes West work for it. He's able to mark it and just chips it down the line where he can pick off Sanders.
Berkey, this will be the second inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs for the quarter.
Yeah, 10-1, and the last one came at the 4-minute mark of the final term. Norton up, juggles the mark. Talk about creating something. The kick from Sanders into the pocket looking for Norton. He rises with his left arm and juggles the mark.
Well, it took something special. It absolutely needed something special because even that kick there wasn't to the advantage of Norton. He just was outstanding, leapt up, one hand in the air, just enough to stop it and get it on the second grab. But, geez, the ugly football from the Western Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs' only multiple goal kicker, 45-degree angle, 35 metres out, hugs the left post and slams it into it. A 10-point lead the Blues way. Just their second inside 50 for the quarter. Carlton have had 10. It's the Blues who hold a 10-point lead. 16 minutes gone, final turn.
It's a big miss, Berkey. He's a big miss in the context of this game.
Especially when you've only had 2 chances for the whole quarter.
First score of the quarter for the Western Bulldogs is a behind. The Blues have kicked 3 goals. As it's brought out from Newman across to Williams, who kicks it down the line. It's able to be moved on by Haynes, who chips it a little further ahead of him where Ainsworth will mark. Left half back for Carlton. Haven't won since round 1. He chips it back to Haynes, who does plunk the mark. Had a little bit of pressure coming from McNeil. Hand passes it to Williams, who hand passes it ahead of him to Holland. Zach Williams keeps running, gets the footy back. His hand pass ahead of Walsh, weaves beautifully through some traffic. Hand pass across to Ison. He hand passes it to Chera, who tried to move the footy on, but it was Selwood with a smother. And it's smothered inside the forward 50 of the Blues, though, goes out of bounds. And it'll be a throw in about 40 metres around from Carlton's goal. They're ahead by 10 points, 17 minutes played in the final term.
And they need to get their skipper on. Ball's been on the other side of the ground and again for the last couple of minutes. And Cripps is just walking up and down like a cage lying on the bench.
Lob against Mackay. Comes down the way McNeil. Hand pass to Richards through the middle of the ground. Good kick to Davidson.
Bontempelli's been on the bench for the same amount of time, so Bulldogs need him on.
Davidson to the outer wing, looking for Baker. Crashed into Florent, gave away the free kick. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Marcus Bontempelli just going on now. Cripps has got their headset on, and I reckon he's probably telling Josh Fraser upstairs, any danger of me getting on the ground.
I wonder whether he's asking him, do you want to go to full forward or stay in the midfield? The Blues had 6 clearances in a row to start this final term. Jagger Smith releases Ollie Hollands with the run, sends it inside 50, Kemp the target, Selwood in front, brought it to ground level, Kemp first back onto it, centering kick, looking for Jagger Smith or Walsh, and Walsh cuts in front, thought about giving it back to Smith. Now Sammy Walsh from right on 50, will take his best.
Oh, Boomy, you haven't been wrong tonight with these.
Yeah, well, he will run out to his right. I know, Sam. He will run out to his right and try to get as much distance as he wants, or as he needs. Not an amazing kick for goal, Sam Walsh, so this will be very, very interesting.
2 goals, 3 so far this season. Walsh gathers momentum, sets flight. It's right to the goal line, and what a got there! Rory Lobb, I don't think he got a touch onto it. We'll go upstairs. The drama once more.
I think Buku touched it, but did he touch it over the line? I think he may have.
It's definitely been touched, and you're right, Berkey, before or after the line.
The arc has been in busy.
While we're waiting for this, Ollie Florent has been tremendous tonight.
Yes.
I think you're fantastic. Right. Buku Karmas got a touch to it as Rory Lobb missed it, so...
Review complete. Looking at this angle, you can see the ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal line. This is not a score.
Sam Walsh thought he got it. Carlton fans thought they'd got it.
Do I get that one, Berkey? I said he's going to need every little bit of difference. Run out to the right.
No.
Oh, I said he needed the distance. He got a touch on the goal line.
We didn't kick the distance.
That's what I said. He's going to need it.
That doesn't mean he's kicking or not. That's 50 cents each way.
Yeah, you two argue like a married couple. It's an 11-point lead Carlton's way.
So the kick-in comes towards Fraser. He marks. And then he hand passes it across to Bontempelli, who is back on the field, goes right down the line, looking for Kennedy. At a good position. Walsh came in to try and impact it, brings the ball to ground, didn't grab it. Does Walsh, hand passes it across to Haynes, and he moves it across to Zach Williams, who can chip it right down the line to Paddy Cripps. The Carlton skipper's got it, just chips it to Haywood. At right half back for the Blues. He has a lead coming from Walsh.
Serious question. Do you think Michael Voss is watching the footy tonight, Berkey?
I was going to say that for the post-match.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
We can ponder that during these tight final minutes of this last quarter. The kick comes down the line from Walsh, but in that contest there's been a free kick, and Buku Karmas will be the recipient of it for the Western Bulldogs. 20 minutes played in this final term. Carlton holding on to an 11-point lead. It's a margin that the game has never got beyond throughout.
I'm saying no. Boomer?
Yep. I think he might be out for dinner, having a couple of wines, relaxing.
Karmas into Butterick. Bulldogs need to make a few things click. Tails kick for Bontempelli, a turnover. Jack Ison on debut, runs a long way, kicks looking for McGovern. Bustlinger gets back, makes the spoil. They scramble at ground level. Bustlinger knocks it out, straight to Frankie Evans, one way, then the other. Hand pass to Ainsworth, around the body. They can't be stopped. 4 unanswered goals in the final term, as the Blues are now out by 17 points at the 21-minute mark of the final term. 9-13-67 to the Dogs, 7-8-50. The Bulldogs' last goal came at the 23-minute mark of the third quarter, and Carlton, they're running ragged.
Well, they made hard work of it again, Berkey, because I actually thought that was a great kick by Ison, and McGovern again should have marked the football. Hits the deck, 1, 2, 3 handballs before Ainsworth finishes with a nice little snap in the end. But this makes it really difficult now. 17 points. That's 3 goals that they've got to kick, and they haven't hit the scoreboard in the last quarter at all. So going to be tough from here for the Western Bulldogs. And credit where credit's due to the Blues.
Yeah, Bustlinger did well to bring that ball to ground, but you don't slap it off the ground straight back into the corridor.
So back in the middle, Ed Richards grabs the footy, gets taken in a tackle by Cripps. The umpire's called it high. Oh no, he's called it holding the footy. So Cripps will win it.
Yeah, had a chance. Ed ducked back into the contest.
Hasn't had his best night, Ed Richards, tonight, as Cripps takes his free kick and puts it straight inside forward 50. Players surround the drop of the ball. Ison comes in, barges in, gets tackled by Selwood High. He can't believe it. But Jack Ison gets another chance to kick his first goal tonight.
This will be beautiful, wouldn't it? On debut, and puts the icing on the cake and puts it out of the Bulldogs' reach.
He puts the icing on the cake.
What did I say? Put the icing on the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
Icing, get it?
Yes, sorry, play of words. Loz. Play of words.
It's late.
I thought I said something wrong.
You tried to give him credit, Loz. He had no idea what he said.
No, I knew what I did.
But Jack Ison coming in, his first match tonight. So Doug Nichols round. It's a low flat kick. It is there.
Loz.
In his first game.
He put the icing on the cake.
He seals the win for Carlton. Surely from here, the Blues cannot lose. Their first game up, getting his first goal in the last quarter. And Docklands erupts. It is Carlton 10-13-73. The Western Bulldogs 7-8-50. 23 and a half minutes played in this final term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Brett Harvey and Nathan Burke.
Well, they're dominating out of the middle, the Carlton team. I think Cripps has probably had about 3 or 4 clearances this quarter alone, straight out of the guts. And the Western Bulldogs they just haven't been able to give a yelp. They haven't been able to play their game, and they don't have a plan B at this point because the defensive structures of Carlton have been outstanding.
They can't get an inside 50, Berkey.
No.
Just 2 occasions for the Bulldogs, 14 for the Blues. Back in the middle of the ground. Walsh works his way to centre-half back. Gets the hand pass away to Hayward. Pitnet the ruck gets a hand pass out to Haynes. Kicks out to to Ainsworth, I should say, who marks on the broadcast wing in front of the 2 benches. Carlton 10-13-73 to the Dogs 7-8-50. The Blues have booted the last 5 goals of the match. Up towards half forward. Mackay presents. Can't take the mark. Offhand, Selwood gathers. Sanders off the instep. Dribbles a kick back to Bustlinger. He tries to Sanders step around Mackay. Bustlinger feeds a hand pass back. The pressure's mounting. Caulfield to Bustlinger. And Mackay shoves him over the boundary line. Much to the Carlton fans' delight as they lean over the fence in applause. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, the Carlton fans are going absolutely nuts down here. I don't think I've seen this many Carlton fans still here in a 4th quarter in season 2026. This place is going nuts.
The Blues are ahead by 23 points as we get to the latter stages of this match. Ball tossed in. Fraser follows it. Keeps it in play. Swings it around. And he'll clear it away from defensive 50. It's a high ball looking for Lewis. He gets nudged off it. And Haynes takes the mark for Carlton.
He's been pretty good in the second half, Haynes.
Puts it on his boot, an inside attack for the Blues. Mackay comes in, 2 hands to the footy, can't take the mark. Ball spills down, Kemp can pick it up for Carlton still. Hand pass to Smith, little dinky kick forward. As he's falling to the ground, it doesn't make the distance. Daly's there to collect. Hand pass it across to Caulfield and just chip it out to Fraser, who tries to dart this pass to Bontempelli. Drops short of him. He can still gather a hand pass it to Davidson, who brings it across to Sanders, who drops the footy as well.
Tried to bounce it, didn't come back to him. Holly Hollins knocks it out to Haynes. Hand pass back to Jagger Smith. If ever you need an indication it's not the Dogs' night, that was it. And Hayward marks.
There's been a lot of unforced errors in tennis terms tonight. Lots of mistakes. I'll have to check those balls after the games. The kicking hasn't been great.
The Bulldogs look like a team who used all their gas last week to get over the line against Port Adelaide. They just haven't fired a shot in this final term. They can't get the ball inside 50. The Blues with 16 inside 50s to 2. As Carlton just whacks it across half back. Haynes all the way back to Nick Newman. 26 minutes gone in the final term, so still a bit of time. Carlton out by 23 points. Haynes takes the mark. And these second half fade-outs under Michael Voss. Josh Fraser, the new coach, bounce as he kicks the Blues up the wing. Cripps to the front. There's a wrestle with Mackay, and Busslinger and Mackay is taken down. We're not into play, and we'll get a free kick. 70 metres out from goal. He's going to just loop a kick back, and Hayward's going to take the mark. They are toying with them now as the Blues just hold on to possession.
Hayward, a little chip kick to Jagger Smith. Inboard, he'll mark at centre wing.
I like this guy's work rate. Works really hard as a midfielder.
Chips backwards towards Dean. Moves it further back to Newman. He's been sitting back in defence all night. Chips it out towards Carroll as they move it across to the City wing. Chip kick from Carroll finds Williams. At left half back, now Blue supporters on the City side of Docklands are cheering. As Williams just chips it inboard to find Florent, who's marked. So happy to chip it around now, the Blues. They're holding on to a 23-point lead.
That's 9 uncontested marks in a row.
So Zach Williams now marks.
10.
And this will be 10 as he chips it back to Florent. So Ollie Florent's got the footy at left half back. The Blues are winding down the clock here. They have kicked 5 goals in this last term. The Western Bulldogs haven't scored a goal. It means they're up by 23 points. The kick finally comes down to a contest on the wing. The Packer players will surround it. Cripps is at the very bottom of it. The umpire will let things play out. As Hines is there as well, and he'll call holding the footy. He'll call holding the footy. It must have been Lobb who had it, or Sanders, as Cripps was involved in it as well. They're all kind of tangling on the turf, but Cripps wins the footy for Carlton.
What a final term he's had. 12 disposals, 4 score involvements as he tries to lead his side to their first victory since round 1. Goes short in the end to Zach Williams, who's going to kick it out towards the boundary line, and the mark is taken. Spotted Carroll. A career best 3 goals for him tonight for Matt Carroll. He's got Kemp as the deepest target. Cripps has gone towards full forward. He sends it in that direction. Davidson tries to make the spoil. Bontempelli's back as well. Footy stripped of him. Will Lewis tries to knock it out. Busslinger over the top. The umpire circles and will ball it up 35 metres out from the Blues' goal. Carlton with 7 goals to 2 in the second half. Mackay tries to knock it out. Ainsworth can't get a disposal away. Sanders was taken when not in possession. He'll get a free kick. Turns and kicks it out to Bailey Dale, who marks in the back pocket.
He doesn't mark in the end. It slips out of his fingertips, so it's another drop mark for the Western Bulldogs. Now he's trying to dodge around Kemp. He's getting himself into his own little bit of trouble here, Dale, until he chips out to Karmas, who's able to mark right at the top of defensive 50. Chips out to Davidson, who marks for the Western Bulldogs. Spears a pass to West. They want to move it on quickly here. They're 23 points down, the late stages of this final term. Chips out towards Artie Jones, but here's Nick Newman, who can punch it over the boundary line and kill the footy.
I'd love to know what the world record is for inside 50s, or a lack of inside 50s. That didn't even go inside 50. They've had 2, Berkey. 2 inside 50s for the last quarter of the Western Bulldogs.
So this will be a ball in 52 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal. It'll bounce its way to McNeil, who will hand pass inside 50 to Fraser. Hand pass to West, dancing around, puts it on his right boot to snap towards goal. It's a good-looking kick. It's there, but it's too late for the Western Bulldogs. It means Carlton's lead will be cut back, but it'll be just cut back to 17 points. The Western Bulldogs are 8-8-56. Carlton are 10-13-73. That was the Western Bulldogs' first goal of this quarter, breaking a run of 5 consecutive Carlton goals. It means Carlton's lead is 17 points in the very late stages of this match.
Yes, too little, too late for the Western Bulldogs. This has just been a... what's impressed me about Carlton is that they haven't let up at any stage. There hasn't been a stage of the game where we've gone, the Bulldogs are well on top here. Carlton have dropped away. This has been the epitome of a four-quarter effort from the Blues, and they've worn the Bulldogs down.
5-1 in the final term. As it's thumped forward by Lobb, Artie Jones came charging out. There's players flying left, right and centre. Cripps is one, Florin is the other. Free kick going the Bulldogs' way. We'll have Artie Jones. He veers out to the right, sends the Bulldogs inside 50.
Free kick,
But just the 4th time in this final term, and Aaron Norton's going to get a free kick. Carlton have been inside 50 on 17 occasions. And Norton with a chance to put his 3rd. 2 goals, 3 as he comes in and pops it through. So some late, satisfaction for the Bulldogs of what could have been. But 2 goals in quick succession. The margin is back to 11 points, but the time is just about out. 32 minutes gone on the clock. The Blues 10-13-73 to the Bulldogs 9-8-62.
So 3rd inside 50, fourth inside 50 for the quarter, Berkey. You can't kick goals if you don't get the ball inside 50. That one come from a free kick. Artie Jones wheels and goes. Surprise, surprise. You've got a little bit of speed on the ball and you get 1v1s.
Well, they've been efficient. 4 inside 50s, 2 goals and 1 hit the post.
Yep.
So Blues are still holding on to an 11-point lead. They trailed by 8 points at 3-quarter time. Were able to get ahead by as much as 23 points. The Western Bulldogs have kicked the last 2 goals to bring it back to 11. As Bontempelli tries to take it straight out of the middle. It's stolen back by Jagger Smith. Hand pass to Ainsworth. Hand pass to Ison in his first game. 52 metres out from goal. Kick all the way there. He misses. It's just a minor score for the Blues. Their lead out to 12 points, but he's been good tonight on debut, Jack Ison.
Buku Khamis brings the Bulldogs back into play. Sends it out towards Bailey Dale. He and Carroll in a one-on-one. Carroll will be happy to see it bounce out of play. And a lasso free kick will go the way of the Blues.
Why are you kicking it out there? You're behind. There's not one to go. You run straight down the middle, then kick it sideways for a lasso.
One of many questions Luke Beveridge will ask in the post-match. Carroll inside 50. The Blues are on the winners list for the first time since round 1. And Josh Fraser starts his role as caretaker coach as a winner. Carlton prevailed by 12 points over the Western Bulldogs with 5 of the last 7 goals of the match.
We are the old dark navy blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions they like to send up. We'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues.
The Bulldogs led by 8 points at quarter time. We had 4 lead changes through the opening quarter. The Dogs by 10 at half time. They led by 8 at 3-quarter time before Carlton took control. They booted 2 goals in the opening 7 minutes. They kicked the first 5 goals of the final term to take the lead. Before the Bulldogs finished with the last 2 of the match. Carlton 10-14-74 to the Bulldogs 9-8-62 in front of 39,217 fans. The Blues snap a 7-game losing streak.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know
been a season of hell for Carlton fans in 2026. And after the departure of Michael Voss after 5 years at the helm of the Blues, they get their first victory under caretaker coach Josh Fraser by 12 points. Carlton 10-14, 74 to the Bulldogs 9-8, 62. For the winners, 6 individual goal kickers, including 3 to Matt Carroll in a career best for him. 2 to Patrick Cripps, who was enormous in the final term. 2 to Harry Mackay, while individuals to Ainsworth, Kemp and Jack Ison on debut. While for the Western Bulldogs, Aaron Norton finished with 3 goals, 2 goals to Riley West, while individuals to Bontempelli, Hines, Sanders and Baker. 6 individual goal kickers for the Western Bulldogs. The Blues, they're back as the winner's circle, prevailing by 12 points after 5 goals to 2 in the final term. The thoughts of Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, the Bulldogs led at every break except for the final siren. Burkey, the biggest thing for me, and I think Clinchy might have asked us before the game what we wanted to see from Carlton and what it looks like, and I think we both agreed on a 4-quarter performance. I think we got that tonight. The second quarter wasn't great by any stretch of imagination. 1 goal apiece, but they were always in the game. Loz, you said on numerous times, 11 points was the biggest margin. So, at a couple, you know what? I actually thought they would have kicked themselves. I thought it was going to come back and hurt them in the end. The first quarter, the second quarter, the misses that they had easy misses. And I thought this is going to come back and haunt the Blues. But in the end, to win by a couple of goals is a fantastic effort. And you know, young Jack Ison to play his first game, kicked the sealer. I thought it was fantastic for Carlton. 4 quarters. It's amazing what happens when you play 4 quarters, Berkey.
Yeah, and their defensive structure and pressuring of the Western Bulldogs was outstanding. It was really, really good. And in that last quarter, we thought, you know, can they keep doing it when they get tired? Can they stop that run off that half-back line for the Bulldogs, getting the ball inside 50? And the answer was yes. They did it probably better than they've done it for the first 3 quarters. Outstanding. For the Western Bulldogs, tonight, your average players were shown up as average. And they've got a lot of them in this team. In going down the list, and some of these will be very good players, but your average players, Buslinger, Hines, Rory Lobb is a good defender, but he's an average ruck. Oscar Baker, Nick Caulfield, Butterick, Karmas, Lewis Emmett, Dolan, Lewis, Bramble, Lockie McNeil, Artie Jones, Selwood, Davidson. They're all average players, and all of them played average or less than average tonight. And the Western Bulldogs, you won't be a great team until these guys either evolve, because Ed Richards and Bontempelli couldn't carry you tonight. And when those guys were down, no one else stood up. Riley Sanders, I thought he had a pretty good game. He had 29 touches, so he's probably one guy that can hold his head high. But without Bontempelli, without Ed Richards, without Aaron Norton kicking 6 or 7, no one else put their hand up and said, you know what, I'm going to do a Carroll and kick 3 and stand up for this team. So they just weren't capable of doing it, which is it's a worrying sign for the Western Bulldogs when they're coming up against Melbourne next week.
4 goals in the first quarter of the Western Bulldogs. They kicked 5 for the rest of the game.
Yep.
The connection piece, and I'm going to say both teams here, Berkey, I didn't think the connection piece between mid and forward was fantastic. And there wasn't a lot of lowering their eyes and easy goals tonight. It felt like both teams had to work super hard to kick all their goals. I'd like both teams, and in particular the Western Bulldogs, who are probably going to feature in finals at the end of the year.
Well, I don't know.
Well, not on tonight's performance, but before that, I thought they've been fantastic this year. They've got to work on that connection piece. I know Darcy's not going to be there. I know they lost Jamara last year. They've got to find another avenue to goal, just not Norton. So, yeah, it's going to be tough from here. And those injuries that we mentioned before the game, Darcy, English will come back. Darcy clearly doesn't. Lib will be back. Vandermeer, O'Donnell, I don't know where they're at, and Waitman hasn't played a lot of football for a long time, but yeah, they've got a little bit of work to do, the Western Bulldogs, that's for sure.
It was the stoppage game where the Blues were able to get on top. They kicked 6 goals to 3 from stoppages, including 3 goals to 1 from centre bounces, and we made reference to it in the final term as Carlton got on top in the clearances. They had 6-2 centre bounce clearances. Patrick Cripps had 13 disposals, 5 clearances, 3 centre bounce clearances, and 4 score involvements.
He was good.
The Carlton captain, 4 days after they sacked their coach, Michael Voss, led from the front, and they break the losing streak. 7 games in which they'd lost since round 1, their victory over the Tigers. I mean, you pose the question, Boomer, whether Michael Voss would be watching tonight. It would be interesting to know what his emotion would be, given the disappointment and the second half fade-outs, which was such a prominent story throughout the last 2 years of his coaching tenure.
Oh, regardless whether he watched or not, and I think Berkey might be right, I don't think I would be watching, but I'm sure his phone would be getting texts and receiving texts, or he'd be checking the scores. One of the two. No matter where he is, I think he wouldn't put his head in the sand. Right now, he would know that Carlton won. And that would be a bit of a sick feeling if I was Michael Voss. Yeah, it's a tough one. And you spoke about Patrick Cripps. His last quarter, that's a leader right there. 13 disposals, 4 inside 50s, 3 centre-bounce clearances, 5 clearances, 4 score involvements. Doesn't get much better.
The mixed emotion is when you see the shot on our commentary monitor when they focus in on the president and the CEO. So Graham Wright's been at the club for a couple of years now. Rob Priestley, the new president. So a lot of the people who brought in Michael Voss as a coach are no longer there. And I don't know whether that's a great sign to be clapping and celebrating as your team, in the end, charges the victory in the final quarter. You've made the decision that the coach wasn't going to continue beyond this season. So they'd spoken about the fact that they thought if they got through to the bye, maybe that would be the time to make the call. But Michael Voss confronted them and said, look, if I'm not your man, maybe it's the time to shake hands and make the decision to take a bit of the pressure away from the playing group. And they probably played with the freedom of a side that all of a sudden a lot of the shackles had been released. And for Josh Fraser, who was able to encourage them at that 3-quarter time break, trailing by 8 points, to do what they hadn't been able to do under Michael Voss.
Well, we posed the question before the game, what was the winning percentage from a new coach coming in? I think we agree, was it 50% we got in? Berkey said that was very high, and he's spot on, because teams are sacking coaches because they're not performing well. Well, that might have jumped up to 52% tonight, or whatever it would have went to. It's another win for the
7 out of 13.
Yeah, there you go.
The thing about the Blues, though, is that they have played good football. They just haven't played 4 quarters of good football. They've played halves, really good halves. They've played really good 3 quarters. They just haven't been able to put it together. The sole difference tonight was they put 4 quarters together. But we shouldn't be surprised, because they can play good football.
Yeah. And the Dogs without Tim English is going to be another conversation. Let's join the Blues as they make their way into their change rooms. Poppy Penny's there, Carlton by 12 points.
Yeah, it is a very, very joyful place to be. Paddy Cripps brought the team in, and Jack Ison is just getting into the middle of the huddle. He's trying to avoid it, but everybody has bottles of sports drink. None of the caps are on, and they're all getting ready to shower him, I think, as they get ready to sing the song. Jack Ison is not the only one covered in sports drink. I am sticky. There's sports drink everywhere, and mostly all over me.
It's a lesson for the boundary riders, Poppy. You don't want to get too close when the sports drink is flying. And Jack Ison kicked a goal in the final quarter, Berkey and Boomer. So the debutant played his part coming up late. He had, what do you have for the game? 15 disposals, 1 goal, 2 and 6 score involvement. So
yeah, it's good.
The next generation academy player for the Blues. He's grown up in Carlton. He spent so much time down at Princes Park, and he was able to be a part of their first win since round 1.
Yeah, he was good. I like the way he uses the footy. He's got a nice, neat left foot kick. He pushed himself forward and got himself a goal. He's a good size young man too. So, he can take a mark over his head and get across the ground. So, I think the Blues in picking the 40s. I think you said Clinchy's ran about the 40-something. He was picked.
Pick 47,
looks like a good get. Very good get.
From Parkdale via the Oakley Chargers, 190 centimetres, and has been Carlton's leading goal kicker in the VFL. So getting rewarded for performing at the lower level. Carlton winners by 12 points tonight, 10-14-74 to the Bulldogs, 9-8-62 in front of 39,000 217 fans. Patrick Cripps finished with 29 disposals, 17 contested, 8 clearances, 4 centre bounce clearances, 7 score involvements and 2 goals. The captain led from the front. So I guess we come back to the question you posed at the start of the night, Boomer and Berkey, about what different we would see from Carlton tonight. Can you put your finger on anything other than the scoreline?
No, I can't, because they still won because they made it a congested stoppage game, and they still weren't great up forward, kicking the ball inside 50, but they were better than a really poor Western Bulldogs.
I haven't seen Carlton live this year properly and watched them like I watched them tonight. Was their structure in defence maybe a little bit better? I mean, they've kept the Western Bulldogs to 62 points. That's pretty good going. And I didn't see Western Bulldogs cutting through the middle of the ground like I've seen them do a lot this year. So maybe it was a little shift in defence. And when you watch football, you probably watch a little bit more for offence, and we don't really notice the defence. So it would be good if we've got an interview to ask one of the Carlton boys if anything had changed in that aspect, but maybe it's a little bit around defence. I thought there was a shift in their handball game early in the game, but it certainly wasn't a trend for the whole game.
They had 5 individual goal kickers in the last quarter, so it's probably more the spread of contributors. They've been able to get centre bounce clearances, not as much in final quarters, more in first halves, but they were able to score from them. So Carroll kicked his third at the 5-minute mark. Harry Mackay gave them the lead at the 7-minute mark, and then from that point onwards, they gathered momentum. Kemp at the 11th minute mark, Ainsworth at the 21st, and Jack Ison was the icing on top, as Boomer said.
I knew I said it.
I've been critical of them. When they've been run over, and I've done a couple of those games, I've thought, hey, they've got a bit lazy defensively. They haven't pushed that extra 5 metres up onto somebody. They haven't sort of quickly got back in behind the football, and the other team have just been able to cut their way through and score. And I was really anticipating that happening again tonight, because Western Bulldogs can cut you up with their feet. But what I saw was a team who are almost anticipating the turnover, getting themselves into the right spot, getting their defensive structure through the middle of the ground and behind the football really, really great. Like Bulldogs, they don't get 4 inside 50s without an enormous defensive effort through the middle of the ground. And that's what I saw. I saw that, call it effort, call it attention to detail, call it extra will. But tonight, to me, the difference was there was that added importance to actually defend through the middle of the ground that at times with Carlton this year, that's been really lacking, because, you know what, you don't get a stat for it. You don't get a possession for that sort of pushing. But tonight there just seemed like a real will to push, to do the unheralded things and get into position and stop the Western Bulldogs moving the footy that, Carlton, I've seen them do it for parts of the game, certainly not for 4 quarters.
I think it helps too, 13 to 8 centre bounce clearances, Berkey. So you win the football, you got it in your forward half, then you can compress the ground and put pressure on and get get repeat inside 50. So maybe that helped as well, because they did give them a little bit of a touch up in the centre bounce clearances, as I mentioned, 13 to 8 and 36 to 27 overall stoppages, winning that by 9, which is not a huge number, but it's significant in today's game to keep the ball going forward into your half.
So the Blues snap a 7-game losing streak. They get victory in their first game under Josh Fraser. We do get seduced by the caretaker coaches from time to time, so it's a positive start for him, while for Bulldogs fans, you could sense it was the potential for their worst nightmare. The team had lost 4 of their last 5 matches, and to take on a side who released some of the shackles and some of the emotion that had taken place throughout the week, and in the end, Carlton prevailed by 12 points.
So do we know when Tim English comes back?
That's a good question. He's a concussion, so you'd imagine...
Next week?
Possibly next week, depending
against
on...
Melbourne, because they're going to need him against Melbourne. I'll give it a tip with Max Gawn.
Because Rory Lobb goes in the ruck and it just completely mucks up their defensive structure.
That's the big part. Take the ruck part out of it, which, as you mentioned, not an amazing ruckman, but he's a good backman. He's a really good backman, so that unsettles that area of the ground. And, what Mackay kicked 3 tonight, I think. 2.
Carroll 3.
He probably
Mackay.
kicks 1 if Lobb's back there. And that's nearly the difference in the game. But, English is a huge out for him. English is maybe their most important player. I know Bontempelli's their best player, but he could be their most important player for somebody to miss.
And it sort of felt like psychologically they almost came to the opinion that whenever Mark Pittner was out there, Rory Lobb had to be out there, and Louis Emmett could really only compete against the second-string ruck. So it just meant Carlton got on top of the clearances, and they knew they had the firepower really to dictate terms in the middle of the ground, and that's sort of how it proved in the final term as they got on a roll with that centre bounce clearances. And for the Dogs, they sort of looked at their most dangerous with Bailey Dale had the ball in hand, 31 disposals. He had 3 inside 50s, 680 metres gained, and 5 score involvements, but it did feel like it was sort of Bailey Dale or Busk a bit for the Dogs tonight.
Well, they lost Williams, didn't they? We mentioned that when he came off, that he was probably going to be a factor in this game, because Bailey Dale and him, they work hand in hand. They switch the ball a lot to each other, then they both drive out of there, and they both use the ball super, super well. So I thought they missed Bailey Williams off the halfback flank tonight.
He suffered a hamstring injury in the second quarter, Bailey Williams, so the banged-up Dogs who have lost a few players over recent weeks. Rory Lobb returned after a hamstring injury, predominantly played in the ruck. But Carlton winners by 12 points. Let's head down to their rooms with Poppy Penny.
Yeah, I'm down in the victorious Carlton rooms, which is something we haven't said since round 1 of the 2026 season with Matt Carroll. 3 goals. Matt, what does this mean?
Yeah, it means everything. Just so pumped to see all the fans get down and see all the noise and energy that they brought. As a Carlton fan growing up myself, it was pretty special to see.
How hard has this week been, I guess, emotionally for the group? It's been a big week for Carlton.
Yeah, no, it's been a massive week. But I think the group's done a great job of sticking together. Fraser's come in and we tried to block out all the outside noise and, really pumped with the result tonight.
How has Josh Fraser handled this week? Obviously, it looks good on the park. It's a win for the first time since round 1. How's he handled the week?
No, Fraser's been awesome. He's really just sort of helped the boys sort of gel together, knuckle down on the fundamentals and just sort of play with a bit of freedom, I guess.
What's it like to sing the song for the first time second time this season, but first time in a little while?
No, awesome. Loved it.
I'm with Matt Carroll in the victorious Carlton rooms. I'm going to throw upstairs to Boomer Harvey, Nathan Burke, Lauren Borden and Matt Glitch.
Matt, Boomer up here, mate. Congratulations, first of all, on team success. And, mate, we thought you were fantastic tonight, hitting the scoreboard as a running wingman who, with a beautiful left foot. Well, I backed you, mate, and just let you know, the guys in the box did not back you, but from 55 out on your left, I said he'll go back and kick this one in the early one. So congratulations, first of all. Mate, can you give us something in terms of not so much what the week's been like, because we can only imagine what it's been like, but did Josh Fraser, the new coach, come in? We don't think he can reinvent the wheel in a week. Did he change anything at all? And if you can give us something around which sort of area of the ground it was.
No, you're right, Bruno. You can't sort of reinvent the wheel straight away. I think he sort of just knuckled down on the fundamentals. He didn't want to sort of change too much in a week. As I said, we sort of just went to work on the fundamentals and tried to play with a bit of flair and freedom off the back of that.
The defensive side of it, and we probably watch up here and we try to pick things out, and you normally look at the offence side, but we thought to keep the Western Bulldogs to 62 points, I'm not sure if you know, they only had 4 inside 50s in the last quarter, was fantastic. Defensively, you guys looked a little bit more sound tonight. Would I be on the money there?
Yeah, I think so. Fraser highlighted our pressure rating in the last quarter was at the level we want it to be, and I think that sort of, that all happened because of our pressure.
Mate, Nathan Burke here. Congratulations on a great win and 3 great goals. Well done. Having some young players like Ison coming into the team today, that generally gives the team a bit of a boost with a young guy full of enthusiasm. How do you think he went?
Yeah, Iso was awesome. Took his moment late in the last quarter, kicked a beautiful goal. He's going to be a great player for us for a long time. He's got a lot of great traits.
And normally when the coach goes and a new guy takes over, the guys who have been playing their trade in the twos, thinking, it's going to be tough for me to get back in, they get up and about a little bit as well. So whilst it can potentially be a bit of a sombre place because the coach is gone, did you sense there were at least some in the playing group going, hey, you know what, this is a fresh start for me?
Yeah, I think with the coach going, there's always sort of opportunities that might present for other people, but sort of, as I sort of said before, like the group is really tight. Like I think the way we gelled together this week was really proud of that.
Matt Carroll with us in the victorious Carlton rooms. Matt, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your own journey. I guess you've been a rookie, a train-on player. You're now coming to your second season after debuting. So how does it feel for you now? Do you feel like you're getting some rhythm? You've played almost every game this season, but I guess can you tell us a little bit about your journey to get to this point?
Yeah, no, everyone's sort of got a journey. Rookie pick in my first year, didn't play all year with a groin injury, then got delisted. Then got an SSP, got back on the list, and then played a handful of games last year, and then sort of moved onto the wing this year from defence. And I'm sort of enjoying it. I feel like probably better suits the team, me on the wing.
And Boomer made reference when you got it outside 50, he thought you were well and truly within range. Is that something you've always been comfortable with, and are you more nervous with the sort of set shot inside 50 in the last quarter than the one on the run?
I'm not too sure. I appreciate Boomer, though, backing me in from 50.
And in terms of, coming into three-quarter time, you trailed by 8 points. You burst out of the blocks and dominated the centre bounce clearances. What was sort of the message at three-quarter time from Josh Fraser?
Just sort of keep going after our pressure. As I said before, we had the pressure rating we wanted. And everything, I think, flows off the back of that, to be honest. So I'm really proud of the way we maintained the sort of rage in the last quarter.
And so Doug Nichols, round, what was it like to have Zach Williams and Jack Ison as part of the ceremony with Artie Jones as well?
It's awesome. It's a great initiative by the AFL. Zach and Jack are much-loved teammates here at Carlton. So
We've just lost the lights in the change rooms. We're being lit by the TV lights. A little bit of mood lighting. Sorry there. Carry on, Matt.
Zach and Jack are much-loved teammates. And as I said, this is a great initiative. So, it's an awesome round for more than just footy.
We'll let you go as you're in the dark. Matt, thanks for joining us on ABC Sport.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Matt Carroll after a career best 3 goals tonight. And, Poppy Penny might have to find the light switch.
That's all it is in there. They redeveloped the rooms maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and this has been happening ever since because clearly someone thinks the light switch is a switch for something else, or one of the friends or family leans on it, and I think it happens every night down there.
That's very funny. Loz, that's a great question because I actually didn't know his journey of where he's come from, and that's perseverance right there. And it's great to see him playing so well. And
well, there's Poppy getting herself on tally at the moment. Look, she's positioned herself right behind the TV crew. She's pretending to read her phone, getting some camera time there, Poppy.
I think she's taken her headphones off, so we are giving her a hard time, and she's got no idea what we're talking about.
I'll let her know. Don't worry about that.
The feedback will come quick and fast. The boys by 12 points, 10-14-74. To the Bulldogs, 9-8-62. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden upstairs. Brent Harvey and Nathan Burke, your experts. Poppy will try and duck across to the Bulldogs rooms. We're off air in around 28 minutes' time. For them, it's a disappointing night. Matt Carroll wasn't too keen to go into the emotions overly much. I guess you sort of try and leave that in-house in terms of the conversations that have taken place between the playing group and Josh Fraser, the new coach. But would there be a feeling of satisfaction by the fact that they were able to respond tonight, the Blues?
Yeah, absolutely. Bob Murphy on radio yesterday made the ridiculous comment that he said if the Blues win in honour of Michael Voss, they shouldn't sing the song. And we were taking talkback calls on whether they should sing the song. My theory is, these blokes have been working their backsides off. They've been trying as hard as they possibly can. Hasn't been working for them. If they win, they deserve to sing the song. The supporters deserve to hear the song. They've been writing it. The staff deserve to hear the song as well. And I'm glad they sang it loud and proud and didn't listen to silly old Bob.
Do you think there's a little bit of remorse from them, though, that they've got to this point? Michael Voss leaves them on Tuesday and then they win? A little bit of maybe guilt in the players' mind that after Voss has gone...
Winning's good.
Yeah.
Winning's really good, and it can change your mindset and your emotions pretty quickly. 100%, by the way, because there's leaders that have had, and players that have had personal relationships with him, and they're the ones that would feel we let Vossi down. Now Vossi's gone and we've won. They would feel that, yes. When they put their, you know what, enjoy tonight, when they go and put their head on the pillow, they'll be thinking, they might even send Vossi a message. Who knows how it works, but...
Except the ones who didn't like Vossi.
I was going to say.
And are saying, yes, he's gone. Look what we can do. Yep.
And
there'll be some of each.
No, absolutely there will, because the guys that are on the brink are not playing. They think, Michael Voss is no good. The guys that are playing, they love Michael Voss, and that's how the system sort of works. So, it'll be a lot of different emotions tonight for sure.
What about the emotions for Josh Fraser? What a week it is when you find out
what did
you're
he say
taking
he doesn't
over.
want to coach for? He could have been coaching him next year.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to sell the narrative, don't you? You'll learn pretty quickly that you're not just talking to the media, you're talking to your players, your supporters, your passionate fans. So
it would be really interesting, that they play Port Adelaide, winnable. They play Geelong,
not as winnable.
Then they play Essendon before the bye.
Winnable again.
Right. So what happens if he wins 2 out of the next 3, and they go, Josh, you're our man? Does he still say he's not ready?
Well, David T. Carlton have had a history of backing in caretaker coaches when they have got on a winning run. But, look, that's the problem with who Carlton and where they go next, because they've tried every angle. They've tried the club legends in Dennis Pagan and Mick Malthouse in terms of industry experience. They've tried new coaches in terms of Brendan Bolton. They've tried Michael Voss, second time around coaches. They've had a crack at all of it.
Go and get the best one.
Yep.
Don't say, we want an experienced one or we want a first-timer coach. We interview them all, narrow them down, interview them again, and who is the best one, pick that one.
That's pretty good advice, isn't it?
Yep. Go through a process, work out what your club needs and what type of coach.
Don't worry about age. Don't worry about inexperience. Don't worry about experience. Pick the best one. They might ring you and get you. Might just got yourself a job there, Berkey.
And the story goes that Stephen King said if he didn't get the Melbourne job, he was happy to go back and do his assistant coaching at Geelong because he was invested in what they were building at the Cats. The Blues winners by 12 points, 10-14-74 to the Bulldogs 9-8-62 in front of 39,217 fans. Matt Carroll finished with a career best 3 goals. Patrick Cripps and Harry Mackay both booted 2, while for the Bulldogs, Aaron Norton was their leading goal kicker with 3 goals. So the Dogs...
Sorry, do we get him in the votes, Carroll? 3 goals, 16 possessions?
Well, I have. I've got him 1.
Oh, good. Do
you want the 2 and the 3?
I was on the same page. I don't know if I've gone early, but I was thinking he's in the votes.
He kicked those 2 goals early when it was really, really hard to get a goal, and he kicked those 2, which kept the Blues in touch at the time. Without him kicking those 2, potentially, I think he got out to around about 11 points a lead. Could have blown out even further. So, might not have had a whole stack of possessions, but his goals came at vital times.
I think I can pick Berkey's 2 and 3 as well.
Do you want to build the suspense or do you want to fire them away, Berkey?
You might not have the right order. I've given Cripps 2.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought, he's absolutely fantastic last quarter, but Carlton played 4 quarters tonight, and the guy who played 4 quarters was Ollie Florent. I've given him 3, Cripper 2, and Carroll 1.
Well, we're on the same page because I had them 3 and flip a coin between Cripps and Florent. Maybe because Cripps hit the scoreboard. Florent's down back, so we don't expect him to hit the scoreboard, but maybe because Cripps hit the scoreboard, maybe the 3 there. But
just early when they were under the pump.
Yeah, he was good.
He was the guy that
I think we actually mentioned him at half-time. That we said, gee, he's been fantastic.
3 to Florent, 2 to Cripps, 1 to Carroll in the ABC Footballer of the Year from Nathan Burke and to Brent Harvey. The Blues winners by 12 points. So the Bulldogs, all of a sudden they're 5 wins and 6 losses, and they've lost, 5 of their last 6 now. And the Challengers...
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points over Port Adelaide. The Challengers continue to come. They have the Demons at Docklands next Sunday, Collingwood and Hawthorn in their next 3.
It's a big month of football, isn't it? Well, the next 3 weeks is huge because Collingwood every single time just keep turning up. We know what Hawthorn, I know they lost today, but was that today? Hawthorn today?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lost today to Melbourne, and Melbourne are flying. So without English, I think the ruck situation is dire straits for the Bulldogs. They don't beat Melbourne next week without Tim English.
No, and then who'd you say? Collingwood and... Hawthorn. Yeah, so look, they lose those, there's, what are they, 9 and 5? All over Red Rover if you're 9 and 5. So you need to win 2 of those to get back to even round about the halfway point. You have to win 2 of those. You can't come from 9 and 5 and steam home. Wild card at best.
What do you think they're trying to do with Louis Emmett then? So they bring him back into the side whenever Tim English is out, but they don't want to put him in the ruck because he's clearly not up to the standard. In gather round at Adelaide Oval, he was clearly not up to the standard against Hawthorn there. So he's a competitor, Luke Beveridge said, but what are they, I guess, trying to get out of him? Just get him a few matches at senior level. He's not playing a lot of game time.
I think we've got no one else, and it's a list build issue. Yeah. If that's your next best ruckman, and you've got to take your best defender out to play him in the ruck because your next best ruckman you don't want to play, you've got 40-odd players on your list. Why have you only got Tim English and a young kid who's not quite up to it? You can have 3, you can have 4 easily. So to me, it's a Sam Powell list build stuff up big time.
Yep. He might be a competitor, but his body's not ready to compete, if that makes sense, against your Lloyd Meeks.
That'll snap him in half.
Your big guys. You can be a competitor all you want, but if you're not built for it right now, and I'm sure he'll get there. Yeah. If you're a competitor, that's half the battle. But I looked at him tonight and he's very lean, he's very raw, he's very young. So he's still got a lot of development. We know ruckman take a little bit more time than most guys. So he'll have a good career, I'm sure. But right now, it's a big ask.
Their depth, the Dogs, is maybe not where they thought it would be once they start to lose a couple of those key planks. Sam Darcy out for the season. Cody Waitman's been out for 2 to 3 years now trying to get himself back to add that other dimension as a small forward, but it really did feel like it was Aaron Norton or bust tonight. You guys made regular reference to it about just coming up with a system which allows them to get a one-on-one inside 50 that other than Norton feels like a winner, and yet there was a job done on Ed Richards tonight. He was blanketed out of the game. A quiet night for his standards. He finished with 19 disposals. Joel Frazier, all of a sudden, not quite in the same form he was last season. 19 disposals for him, and Marcus Bontempelli, we know he's tried so hard throughout an injury period, 24 disposals and a goal for him tonight alongside just the one clearance.
Well, we mentioned Bailey Williams. Add him to the list. So you talk about depth, but I'll probably challenge you in terms of you take those 6 players and put them as maybe a Cripps, a Walsh, a Newman, Haywood and someone else out of any team, like that sort of 6-ish type of players. I think any team's going to struggle a little bit because the depth he can't cover. You can cover 2 or 3. Yep. 6 is a lot, and now that goes to 7 with Bailey Williams, who I think is a really good player.
Yep. And look, Will Lewis had to play the second banana, but he's not up to that. He's 3rd or 4th banana. So you got Norton and him. They need to find somebody else down there who's going to step up, and Rory Lobb didn't even go forward. I would have been thinking potentially that might have been an option tonight. So go in the ruck, but don't come off, just go stand it forward. And the ball's up the other end. You're standing there, you're resting. What's the difference between standing there and sitting on the bench? There's standing and sitting. You're not using that much energy. So stay on the field, provide a target, but that wasn't even an option tonight.
I know we're jumping back, and just to Carlton for a second, because I've just written something down around, I think they lack a little bit of polish for Carlton. And these names, I think Jagger Smith has got it. He's just got those moves like Jagger. Drops his eyes. He actually goes really well. Will Haywood, I think, has it. He's got speed to go with that. He wasn't fantastic tonight, but he's got it. And I think Matt Carroll, I think he's got that beautiful left foot kick. But I look at an Adelaide with an Isaac Rankin, those type of polished players. I think and maybe it's Cody Walker when he comes in. High expectations for a young boy, I know, but there's that little bit of polish. I think Carlton are a polished player away from being a little bit more depth through that midfield as well. And then doing what I said about Cripps, put him in the midfield, second half of quarters, push him forward. Because they're worried about their spread a little bit, hence why Hewitt went out of the team. He's back now, I know. But Patrick Cripps is at the second part of his career. And I think they've got to look to something a little bit different for him. He's carried his football club on his shoulders for so long and did it again tonight. Absolute superstar of the competition. But I think there's another role for him. I think he can still have a huge impact on this football club.
The Blues winners by 12 points. The thoughts of Brent Harvey alongside Nathan Burke. Let's check in with Poppy Penny. She's made her way to the Bulldogs rooms. Poppy.
Yeah, I have made my way down to the Bulldogs rooms. I think we're going to hopefully speak to somebody, but it's a very different vibe down here than it is in the Carlton rooms. Lots of family and friends sort of milling around, players in treatment rooms and meeting rooms and all that sort of thing, but definitely a very different vibe in the Bulldogs rooms. Lots of players with ice. We know that there's quite a few injured Bulldogs, so we've got players with ice on ankles and knees and all that sort of thing, but it's clearing out pretty quickly.
Thanks, Poppy. We're on air for about another 16 minutes or so we'll see if the Bulldogs are feeling generous enough to bring us some reaction. Carlton 10-14-74 to the Dogs 9-8-62. Patrick Cripps with 29 disposals, 8 clearances and 2 goals, 7 score involvements. Ollie Florent got the 3 votes in the ABC Football of the Year. He's 28 disposals, 11 marks, 4 tackles and 457 metres gained. So the Blues take on Port Adelaide next Saturday night at the Adelaide Oval, Geelong and the Bombers, while the Western Bulldogs take on Melbourne, Collingwood and Hawthorn. And the challenge for the Dogs, as Berkey said, is to get into a wildcard position, because at the moment they don't look like they're a much better side than that after starting the season 4 wins and 0 losses. They've now all of a sudden lost 5 of their next 6. The other results so far for today, it was a big win for Nam. The Demons defeating Hawthorn by 39 points. Their continued run at the MCG continues on. They managed to kick 6 goals to 4 in the third quarter, eventually ran out 18-12, 120 to the Hawks, 12-9, 81. While in the other results, it was Goanna, the Adelaide Crows, who prevailed by 68 points over North Melbourne. 10 unanswered goals in the second quarter as the Roos were back to reality today. Isaac Rankin got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. As Poppy tries to find out whether we can get some reaction from the Bulldogs rooms, let's bring you some of the thoughts of the Western Bulldogs coach. Here's Luke Beveridge.
So, Luke, I guess it was a bit of an arm wrestle for those first 3 quarters, but it just seemed like you guys sort of just ran out of petrol tickets in that last. How did you sort of see it?
Yeah, you could see it that way, or you could give Carlton credit for the fact that they overwhelmed us. I think we only had it inside our 50, I think twice, with about 5 or 6 minutes to go. So to think when the game was on the line for them to come out of centre bounce like they did and win the contested elements, which they were all night really. We're probably lucky to be in the game early because they squandered some chances. And it wouldn't have been a great spectacle to watch, I wouldn't have thought. Lots of error, pressured or unpressured. They smothered a lot of our handball. And, we as I said, in the end they overwhelmed us. And Carlton have obviously only won the one game up until tonight, but they haven't been that bad. They've been close in a lot of their games. We knew that coming in, and I think we were a goal and a half up, and understanding that we needed to do a fair bit to still win it. So it's the disappointing part about it. It wasn't us who broke the shackles and came hard in that last quarter. There seemed to be a clear difference in the way players were covering the ground, and definitely a clear difference in the capacity to win the contest at ground level in particular. So it's something that we're working on. We can't rely on the usual suspects to win that category. In the columns, we need more to be better at that side of it. So that's part of our journey to progress in those facets. And there's a number of boys who are finding their way with that.
One of the themes throughout the night, as much of an arm wrestle as it was, but it sounded like Carlton were just always sort of had you measure in those contested ball and clearances. And then it's sort of like the dam kind of broke in that last quarter. Is it sort of disappointing in the sense that you weren't able to sort of even get within, especially like contested balls like plus 31, I think, in the end?
Yeah. It's as big a differential or discrepancy as there's been in a game for us for a long period of time. So it's not endemic as yet, but we, historically there have been one or two that have got a lot of those contested possessions for us. one or two who aren't in our team at the moment, so others need to pick up that vibe and that slack. Until they do, we're going to be a bit vulnerable.
Luke Beveridge, the Western Bulldogs coach, trying to talk us through the challenges his side has with their injury crisis that has taken place, but it's more the players they've lost as much as it is the number in which they're missing now, with players across all lines. Tim English, the most valuable player almost now in the ruck, and the Blues, as he made reference to, were able to go to work in the clearances, 36 to 27, including 13 to 8 in the centre bounce clearances. Sam Darcy in the forward 50, James O'Connell in the back 50, and Cody Waitman, their small forward, who's missed the best part of the last 2.5 years. Carlton 10-14-74 to the Bulldogs 9-8-62. What can Bevo do to try and instill some belief when there is some obvious signs that they're relying on their best players at the moment?
5 out of 6, did you say?
5 out of 6 they've lost.
They've lost, and they won by 2 points, the one that they won. So not in amazing form. Started the year really well. I thought they were back to 2016 Bulldogs by hand, and I actually liked watching the Western Bulldogs play. They're one of the teams that I really do watch on TV when they're on, but it's tough. Injuries play a huge part. If you haven't got your best team out there, it makes it tough, and he might have to throw around the magnets. I'm not sure how their VFL's team's going, but he might have to.
They don't have a lot of depth there either.
Well, it's going to be hard because you're playing the same blokes, and then there's no selection. There's no selection problems. You know what I mean? You want to put people under the pump for their spot. If there's no selection dilemmas, it's hard. They know they're going to play again next week.
Adam Treloar played in the VFL today, and he's trying to prove to himself that his body can get through a AFL game. He played the one game against the Sydney Swans and just didn't quite look right. Looked like a guy who was paranoid that his hamstring was going to go on him at some stage. So the hope is to try and get a block into him to offer some support, but he's probably in the final year of his playing career as well.
Jed Buslinger tries hard, but is he your number one defender? Because Karma's got the second best defender today, and they tried to free him up to, and look, he's just average.
I think we can get some response from the Bulldogs rooms down to Poppy Penny.
Yeah, that's right. I'm down here with Joel Fraser. Joel, was there any conversation this week about the potential of a new coach bounce for Carlton?
Yeah, there was a little bit, but doesn't matter if it's a new coach or not. Teams, each team comes out each week and you've got to respect them. So for us, Carlton bet us in, the basics of the game being contested ball, pressure and work rate. So that was disappointing for us tonight.
Did they throw anything at you that you didn't expect or didn't prepare for under the new coach?
Not really. I think just those main aspects that I talked about. Maybe they moved the ball a little bit more off the line and created with run and carry, which maybe they weren't doing it through the start of the year. But, it was mainly through those 3 aspects I just talked about, yeah.
Have you had your meeting with Bevo, your post-match meeting? What did he say?
Yeah, exactly that. Just the fundamentals of the game. Obviously, there was a few structural things, but really work rate and contested ball, that's what they bet us in all over the ground. And, we need to get the ball going forward more, get more territories. I think we only had 2 inside 50s until late in the fourth quarter, through that fourth quarter. So that was disappointing as well.
You guys have had injuries to key players in pretty much every line so far this year. How do you guys feel you're adapting to that? Is there concern about the depth in the group?
No, I think it's just the next man up mentality. Obviously injuries happen and that's just a part of footy and it's unfortunate, but it's no excuse. That's why there's 40 people in the squad. So for us, it's next man up mentality and guys have got to keep stepping up.
I'm in the Western Bulldogs rooms with Joel Fraser. I'm just going to toss upstairs to Boomer Harvey, Nathan Burke, Lauren Borden and Matt Clinch.
G'day, Joel. Thanks very much for the interview, mate. I know how hard it is to do after a loss, especially one that you probably thought you were going to win. So thank you. We've just been talking and going through some injuries. I know you don't want to go over that, but how important is Tim English for you guys? And I know, I think I know Bontempelli's an outstanding player, and you guys have got a number of them, but English could potentially be your most missed player out there because that obviously takes Rory Lobb out of the defence where he's so good. Can you talk through just the demand on other players around when Tim English isn't there?
Yeah, I think it's one, his experience, that's probably the most important thing. And then 2, obviously his size and strength. So, and he's experienced and he's a pretty good runner at times as well. So they are big things to miss. And Louis Emmett's just starting off in his career and learning. So, Tim is a big out. But as I said before, it's got to be next man up mentality. And going through these periods, got to build resilience and help us in the back end of the year.
Joel, Nathan Burke here, mate. Thanks for the chat. When you lose 4 in a row, it can be really sapping because, you give the same effort, but you lose, so it really takes its toll. And the game last week was a really sapping effort right down to that last 10 seconds of the game. How's the squad faring? Is there still the same enthusiasm at training, still the same enthusiasm to play the game? Because you've had a pretty brutal 5 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I think we thought we were really building some momentum. Like the Fremantle game, we felt we should have won that one, and that one slipped away. And then last week, obviously in the second half, we struggled to score, and I think we kicked 1-9 or 1-8. But there were some really good signs there, and we felt we should have won that game by a bit more. So, it was a tough 3 weeks there with Hawks, Geelong, Sydney. But we felt the last 2 weeks we've been really building well and getting some momentum going. So tonight, for that sort of to slow down or turn back the other way is disappointing, and everyone feels that. So now we've got to come together and, as I said, these periods are resilience building and just about learning and getting around each other. So got to keep the spirits high and move on to next week.
Joel, really appreciate a few minutes of your time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Joel Fraser joining us from the Bulldogs rooms after Carlton prevailed by 12 points.
Just on that, sorry, Boomer, on your point, they haven't won when Tim English hasn't played this year. So they were 5-1 when he's played, 5 wins, 1 loss. Without him in the 4 matches that he hasn't played, they've lost.
Good stat. One last week against Port Adelaide when he was there, the concussion. So
I got a bit confused when he said it against the Hawks, because I've got him down there playing him again in 3 weeks.
They played him in round 5.
They played him in round 5.
Don't
and they
make
play him
sense
again in round 13.
Yeah. You should know better.
Oh, I literally got that confused then. I'm thinking he's talking about 2025. Well, how does this even work?
Don't ask.
No, you're better off not knowing the answers to some of these questions in terms of how the fixture gets decided.
Wow.
Blues winners by 12 points. Adelaide by 68 points over North Melbourne. And it was Nam, the Demons, who prevailed by 39 points over Hawthorn in the upset victory today. So July for the Western Bulldogs, Sydney at the SCG, West Coast at Docklands, Gold Coast at Carrara, Richmond at Docklands, and Fremantle in Perth. So there's a couple of wins in there, but there's certainly a couple that's going to take a fair bit of work in order to try and get ahead of the ledger. They're now 5 wins and 6 losses. Maybe just a quick thought or two on tomorrow's matches. There's not a whole heap to get too excited about, but the Bombers kick off proceedings, taking on the Dockers. That game is at the MCG, so it's been a tough season for Brad Scott. Just the 1 win so far. They and the Tigers on the bottom of the ladder, and the Dockers. After that breakthrough win against, Hawthorn at home, now it's the challenge to try and make sure the consistency week to week is there for Justin Longmuir's side.
Hayden Young out. The Dockers are winning me over.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to give Essendon a chance.
No, Essendon no chance. They're winning me over reluctantly.
Yep, and I'm with you. I actually thought they potentially would finish top 4 purely on the base of they get 12 home games. I'm tipping maybe 13, and they would win 10 of them. Their forward line looks different. Tracy looks like Tony Lockett coming out of the goal. No, I shouldn't say that because you played with him. He's a big brute of a man, and he looks good. Their midfield's good, and they've got some really good players off half back now. So
and Luke Jackson's winning me over as a midfielder. We've seen so many big blokes over the years. They go in there, they get 2 clearance, and they go, they can be midfielders. They can be no, they can't. But he's building up a battery of work that's almost swaying me there too.
Yep, Fremantle for me.
The Saints Euro take on Richmond tomorrow. Another 2 injuries for the Tigers with Tom Brown and Kane McAuliffe out. Jack Higgins comes back after his concussion. And the Saints obviously without Nazire Wanganeen-Miller. So just a must-win for the Saints if they're going to be a top 10 side.
You're right. It's a must-win. They have to win. If they don't, well, then queue in the rack. Go home. Don't come out next week.
Now, somebody told me today in the VFL, Richmond played, and I think they did okay. They did not have one AFL listed player. Now that might be wrong.
Probably right.
Because the guy was at the local footy on the Beers, so it could be it could be wrong, but it wouldn't be far off if they had maybe 1 or 2.
They've lost by a point to Box Hill.
Yep, did quite well. watch the start of that game.
I'm going to have to look through this team sheet to try and work out if there's any AFL names that I recognise.
Well, you do that, and we can talk about West Coast and Giants, and it's exactly the same thing, Berkey, because it's just a must-win. And Giants have got a few injuries along the way, starting to get some troops back right now, but go over to the West, just get the job done, and the Giants just need to win this one.
Yeah, they're win-loss every week now. They just cannot get on a roll. Need to win this one. Go over there, get your 4 points, get on the plane, come home.
So that's the final game for round 10 of the AFL, the first week of Sir Doug Nicholls round. Of course, next week, Collingwood take on West Coast, and Boomer Harvey will be surpassed by Scott Pendlebury. Are you sick of being asked about it all week? And do you go down to Collingwood on Monday? Is that the go? With all the 400 gamers?
I am sick of it. I went down to Collingwood on Monday to do just a little thing that Collingwood will bring out, and I ran into Scott there and went up and had a quick chat with him. I said, the only thing I'm disappointed with is that you didn't play this week, and I had another 7 days of people at the supermarket saying, oh, do you want me to go and get Scott Pendlebury for you? And all the old ladies sticking up for me. So I have had a little bit of love in terms of people keep saying to me, I could have potentially played one more, but look, I'll go down there on, I think we're doing something on Monday, a little luncheon or something at the MCG with Pendle. So, and then after that, got invited to the game. Of course, I'll be
working with us.
I will be, so I might have to work out how I do what they want me to do and then still get to here. So I might be a couple of minutes late, unfortunately, but we'll work that out as well. And I'm hoping I'm at the North Melbourne game.
If I'm Pendles,
running late there as well.
If I'm Pendles, I'm putting someone outside your house.
Thank you, Boomer. Thank you, Berkey.
Thanks guys.
to
Well
Poppy
done.
Penny. Thanks to Joni Z back at base, to Leo Keefe at the back of the box, to Poppy Penny. Thanks to Lauren Borden. The Blues, they're back on the winners list, prevailing by 12 points, snapping a 7-game losing streak. 10-14-74 to the Bulldogs, 9-8-62. We're on air from midday tomorrow for AFL Sunday with Cameron Ling and myself.